bragging rights between these two schools.
Oh, it's definitely a big game in South Carolina, not only for keeping the on-field talent at a par, but also for barbershop talk on Monday. This is the barbershop game. Who can talk the most trash on Mondays at the shop?
Buddy Pugh is now the head coach at South Carolina State. He won last week. Buddy Ball is alive and well. Can it continue throughout the season?
I think it can, Charlie. It's not just 3 yards in a cloud of dust like the old South Carolina State offense we're used to. This is 4 wide receivers throwing a lot of 4-yard passes, a lot of yards after the catch.
Well, they last played in 1999. It was a 3-point ball game. South Carolina State came out victorious. Who will win tonight? That's the big question, and we'll be back to let you know in a few moments. Stay with us. The Willie Jeffries era at South Carolina State ended last year with a win over Norfolk State. Coach Jeff stepped aside with a 122, 72-4 record as the Bulldogs' mentor. The Buddy Pugh era at South Carolina State began last week with a win over Tennessee State. It's the Bulldogs of South Carolina State against the Tigers of Benedict, and the crowd is pumped up for the Palmetto Capital City Classic next on MBC. Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the site of MBC Sports Game of the Week, and the fans are tailgating in the parking lot as the Bulldogs of South Carolina State take on cross-state rival Benedict College in the Palmetto Capital City Classic. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could join us here. And let's talk about these teams. Both have a game under their belt. So that means, what? The Butterflies should be gone. Both teams scored 26 points a week ago. That was Benedict College on a losing cause to Lane, while on the other side, South Carolina State came out with a big victory over Tennessee State. But one common denominator between both of these particular teams was the play of each team's quarterback. And a young man who's working with me knows a lot about the play of quarterbacks, Jay Walker, former Howard University and NFL quarterback. And Jay, let's talk about Reese McCall for South Carolina State. A big game for him last week, and he stepped up to the plate, 262 yards of total offense.
He was a big factor in last week's game. What we have to look for him today is to control the offensive unit when they're on the football field. Get him in and out of the huddle and eliminate the turnovers. They turned the ball over 5 times last week, still got a victory. If they turn it over 5 times week in and week out, that's not good news.
Marcus Walker for Benedict College, who's a junior, hadn't played quarterback since high school, came away with a big game, though, in a losing cause, scored 3 touchdowns rushing.
And I think he surprised a lot of people. Normally, if you have a quarterback that hasn't played the position in such a long time, you expect turnovers, interceptions, and fumbles. He didn't turn the ball over once. He continued to run the offense, and he gave Benedict College an opportunity to win the football game.
These two teams last met back in 1999. This is the 38th time Benedict and South Carolina State have done battle. We'll be back with the opening kickoff and the starting lineups in just a moment. Tonight's NBC game is brought to you by Verizon. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker. We're in Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the Palmetto Capital City Classic, and along with Jay and myself, our other partner down in the crowd somewhere is Nicole Watson. What's happening, Nicole?
All right, Charlie, to the Rabbit fans in this stadium, this matchup means everything. That's because they call it a revival of unity and spirit. This matchup goes all the way back to 1926, and only World War II, a boycott of the state flying the Confederate flag, and Benedict's own football program shutting down has stopped this matchup from happening. Now, there's only 40 miles that separate these two teams, but there's a lot of pride in between. The last time they matched up, as we said earlier, 1999, and South Carolina State won a nail-biter by just 3 points. So for these fans, this is not just the best game in town, it's the only game in town, Charlie, as you can see. You guys, you ready to play some football?
Nicole needs to be careful out there in that crowd, huh?
Well, she found a whole pack of guys to hang around with. We got to talk to Nicole about that.
Well, where would you be if you were out there?
I'd be on the field, Charlie. I'm a football player.
Oh, you cleaned that up pretty good.
You know that. There's grass. If the grass is green and it's in the air, even if the ribs are cooking, I'll stay away from the table to play some football.
South Carolina State looks like they're going to win, get the opening kickoff here at Williams-Brice Stadium. And the deep people for South Carolina State. Jamie Scott's back there as one of the deep men. As you look at Oliver, Buddy Pugh is what he's called. you know, it's kind of ironic. Both of these head coaches played at South Carolina State. In fact, Benedict College has 3 coaches that so it should be a very, very interesting matchup as Brian Simon has the ball on the tee, preparing to kick off for the Tigers of Benedict. Derek Watson, Jamie Scott, the deep men to receive for the Bulldogs. Those on the far side, it'll be Jamie Scott at the 5. Scott has some running room across the 30, 40, down to the 45, 46-yard line. Goes Jamie Scott, a 41-yard kickoff return to start the game. And, of course, the quarterback is Reese McCampbell out of Lithonia, Georgia, a junior. And he's the young man of record. Played in the last, or came on as a starter midway through last season and has held on to the job. And those are the stats for him a week ago. 8 of 21, 121 yards passing. But more importantly, he rushed for 161 yards. First down and 10. Works side of the shotgun. Bobbles the snap and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. At their own 45-yard line, that's where South Carolina State is going to work. Let's look at the rest of the offense. Trevin Smith, Aaron Alexander, Derek Watson, and Terrence Metcalf, the son of Terry Metcalf and the brother of Eric, at wide receiver, along with Brandon Kennedy, the tight end. And here's the line, the offensive line, a pretty good one. The twin brothers, Roderick and Rodriguez, at center and guard, respectively. The Rogers boys. It is second down and 10 for South Carolina State. And the pass is complete to Aaron Alexander, and Alexander gets it close to a first down right at the 45 of Benedict College. So a gain of about 10 yards on the play. It'll be third. We'll call it a short one as we look at the defense. A 4-3 being used by Benedict with McCord, Smith, along with Brockington and Schuler up front. There's a secondary, Wilson, Ford, Green, and Owens in the secondary. On 3rd and 1. They keep the ball on the ground. Here's the quarterback with the ball, and that's McCall on a quarterback keeper all the way. First down all the way down to the 31 of Benedict.
And that's what we talked about in the opening. If Reese McCampbell can run the football like that all day, Benedict's in for a lot of trouble. What he does, he's the most explosive, one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the conference. A little fake here up the middle, getting outside downfield. 3rd and 1, everybody's expecting a sure run to the running back. He broke the outside contain, and Benedict can't let McCampbell get outside the pocket.
McCampbell's a good one. They're working from the shotgun again. A little different offense than we'd seen under the Willie Jeffries era as they keep the ball on the ground. And going forward for about 3 or 4 yards is Trevin Smith. He's his junior out of Moncks Quarter, South Carolina. Last week, 82 yards, averaged 6.8 yards per carry. Didn't score a touchdown in their win over Tennessee State.
And he's a great running back. You know, last week, those numbers he put up, you mentioned the 12 carries for 82 yards, averaged almost 7 yards a carry last week. If he can maintain that average somewhere in the 5 to 6 yard per carry range, they're going to be a heck of a football team.
And he has the ball again, straight ahead, dancing inside the secondary when he's finally brought down. But I believe we see a penalty flag down on the floor. There's a penalty flag down. The officials are headed by Sam Jones. He's the referee. There he is right there. And let's see if we can see what the penalty is. It's a face mask.
Anytime you get a good running back that does a lot of hard running like that, he's going to lower his shoulder pads. And you take a look there. You grab him by the face mask there. I don't know about that one.
Dominique Peters, the linebacker out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, the man guilty. Meanwhile, this drive that started at their own 45 for South Carolina State in their visiting white jerseys. They're the visiting team in this particular game. Have moved the ball all the way down to the 17 of Benedict. And again, the handoff goes to Trevin Smith, and Trevin is finally knocked out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. Let's look at the rest of the offense from And Ones to Watch, brought to you by Aflac.
taking a look at the ones to watch. Trevin Smith, we talked about that. South Carolina State has an experienced offensive line. If he averages 4 yards a game, 4 yards a carry, it's going to be a long day. Derek Harrison, he's going to be the defensive stopper for the South Carolina State defense to make them throw the football.
Second and about 1. And the quarterback, McCampbell, he's in. Touchdown, South Carolina State.
Touchdown, South Carolina State.
From 7 yards out, picking up where he left off a week ago.
Great piece of running. If you notice there, he only threw 1 pass. One of the things that you have when you have an offensive line that's experienced, like the South Carolina State line is, they've got 3 seniors and 2 juniors, no freshmen, no sophomore, no mental mistakes. Quarterback that can run like that, they're just pounding on that Benedict line of scrimmage right now.
And going in for the point after will be Guy DiPaolo. DiPaolo's kick is up. And it is no good. He had trouble last week, and it's a 6-0 ball game. 12-11 at time remaining. Let's look at Mr. McCampbell, the young man who last week ran for a touchdown. He has 2 rushing touchdowns so far this season. We have a 6-0 ball game here in Columbia, South Carolina, as South Carolina State took the opening kickoff and drove all the way down. This is Guy DiPaolo with the kickoff. And it's fumbled. And let's see who comes up with it. It may be South Carolina State's ball. It is. So a turnover. They created 7 a week ago, and they have their first tonight against Benedict.
One of the things you can't do in this type of game here, he's talked about the Benedict special teams. They've got to find a cure for some of those woes. Running backs bobbling the ball right away. He's jittery, he's nervous, he stumbled, and that's what we call a sniper fumble right there. Somebody must have sniped him from up here in the top row and made him lose his footing there and just gave the football to South Carolina State. That's a gimme.
So they get the possession deep in the red zone, or in, I should say, Benedict territory. It is in the red zone at the 18-yard line, and McCampbell getting ready to go to work again. He just scored moments ago on a 7-yard run. In fact, it was just 11 seconds ago. And they have the ball, and they're keeping it on the ground this time. And running straight ahead, Watson.
That's more of what Benedict needs to do. The big guys up front for Benedict, they must get control of that line of scrimmage. Nick Brockington, Alonzo Schuler, Brian Hamilton, Kenny Smith, and those guys. They've got to control those guys and run it up the middle of the field, make them throw the football.
Let's take a look at that touchdown by McCampbell that put South Carolina State ahead 6-0.
And what you're going to see right here is you're going to see this valley right here just open up like the Red Sea with a lead blocker, a body on a body. Quarterback's going to break here, make a great spin move here to get in for the touchdown.
There it is, wide open. You could have run through that, Jay.
I could run through a smaller hole than that, Charles. What are you trying to say?
So we got our first injury of the game, offensive lineman going off for South Carolina State. That's Bobby Collins, who moved from defense back in the spring. He's a senior out of Sumter, South Carolina, 6'4", 270. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. He's a main cog in that offensive line that does a pretty good job with Haynes, Aubrey, Rogers, the Rogers boys, Roderick and Rodriguez. And, of course, Bobby Collins we just saw limp off. Second down. The keeper by the quarterback again. Here's McCampbell. McCampbell down to the 10, a gain of 8 on the run.
This is an impressive offensive line they've got for South Carolina State. You lose a tackle, who do you bring in? You bring in a guy that's 6'2", 300 pounds and jolts. One of the things that they're doing up front is they're just leaning on right now. They know they're bigger than Benedict right now. They're getting a body on a body every chance they can. And you've got those big guys up front with those Rogers brothers and Aubrey and Haynes leaning on them. It's going to be a long day, and I hope you've been benching because you're going to need it to get them off of you.
Now they go to a conventional pro set. A naked backfield, and the quarterback just takes it, sneaking for the first down, trying to go straight ahead. Kamal Maxwell was the man who wrapped him up there, number 66, senior from Johns Island, South Carolina. And he still didn't get the first down, so let's see what decision Coach Buddy Pugh is going to make right now on this 4th down, or maybe they're going to measure.
And I think I think here that even if they don't get the first down, you go for it. You got the ball back on a freebie anyway with a turnover. You weren't expecting to get the ball, so I don't see why you don't go for it.
Let's look at the flavor of the game, Jay.
As we take a look here at the flavor of the game, South Carolina State must establish dominance early. They've controlled this line of scrimmage since it began. They controlled the special teams. They're controlling the line of tempo. They're playing at their tempo right now. And they've got to reduce turnovers. They haven't had an opportunity to turn the football over yet, but as we go deeper into this football game, let's see if their quarterback McCampbell's able to keep the football.
And they did get the first down, so it's first and goal now for the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, already leading 6-0 in the ball game.
Down here, one of the things they like to do is take a look for, they've got some big, tall wide receivers over there, 6'4" and 6'2". So they like to throw fade route here to Terrence Metcalf. We may see that here.
Derek Watson, the lone setback beside the quarterback. McCampbell going left. Cuts it inside the 5 and is knocked out of bounds. Jesse Owens was there to meet him, number 19. The first man to knock him out of bounds.
This Derek Watson's a great football player. Watch him take on this block here. He's a little guy here. He's going to take on this guy and just lay him out, let his quarterback get outside so that he can get outside, won't get hit by all those big guys. They say Derek Watson's just the best pure football player on this football team. Not the fastest, not the smartest, but the best pure football player that they have, and that's a great compliment coming from the coaches.
And he transferred in from the University of South Carolina, where he had a tremendous career there. Here's Watson with the ball, trying to get outside. Turns and spins and is dropped at the 3-yard line. 3-yard line as far as he goes, as Tony Wilson was the first man to meet him defensively.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing here. They've got some of the guys from Bethune, from Benedict, they left some things on the field because Watson came out there and turned a play that was a sure loss and getting back to the line of scrimmage. He's got some pep in his step, as we like to say. There's
his stats from a week ago. 7 carries, 29 yards, while at South Carolina, he rushed for 2,107 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Impressive.
The quarterback keeper again. Here's McCampbell going to the 1. And it'll bring up a 4th down and 1. Now, they didn't attempt any field goals a week ago. Let's see if Guy DiPaolo will come on and or if they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Well, every now and then, I mean, football's simple. If the kicker missed a PAT, why do you think you make a field goal?
Well, he was 2 of 4 last week, and that's unusual for DiPaolo, who was a pretty accurate PAT kicker a year ago, missed only 4 of 24 attempts all last season. But they're going with a full house backfield. They're going to try to pound it in here. And the ball hit the ground, I believe. It might have been a fumble, or is it a touchdown?
He didn't get in.
Let's see what happens here. It may have been a great defensive stand at the goal line by Benedict. So the momentum that looked like was going in favor of South Carolina State may have swung in favor of the Tigers of Benedict.
And that was just pure South Carolina gut check time. I know you. We played high school ball against each other. Well, now I'm a grown man. When you get down in the goal line, it's nothing but man on man. Who wants it more? What a stuff there. You've got 3 guys, 4 guys surrounding the football. Everybody's there leaning on the pile. That was a gut check test, and Benedict passed it so far.
And Benedict, though, with their backs to the wall, have to be very careful down here. As you look at the offense, they're led by Marcus Walker and, of course, Terrence Budding.
Dead ball, substitution infraction on the offense. 12 players on the field.
How much closer to the goal line can you get the ball? Half the distance.
I don't know. But you know what you do here, surprisingly. Don't be surprised if they come out and just release a bomb from here. Throw it up to Curtis Wamser and see if he can do.
That's what Walker did a week ago against Lane, 11 of 25, 196 yards. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. Did not throw an interception, did not throw a touchdown pass.
Did not hurt his team.
Full house backfield from the I formation, bouncing and trying to get a little running room is Terrence Bunning out of Beaufort, South Carolina, number 25. And here are your Verizon starting lineups for Benedict. Bunning, Cumbie, the receivers, Rampersant, a good one, James Fuller, and Rolando Schuler. The offensive line, they do a very good job, and they did a good job a week ago in blocking, just not enough with Trapp, Boy, Gray, Bird, Ellison. It is 2nd down, 2nd and about 6. And they keep the ball on the ground again with Bunting getting out to the 7-yard line.
I'll tell you, this is good old-fashioned South Carolina football, Charlie.
Let's look at the defense of South Carolina State. The rising starting lineups. They play a 3-3-5. 3 down linemen with Williams, Javon Hamilton, and McCollum, the best linebackers possibly in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, in Harrison and Pooler, along with Lester Davis, and a secondary that consists of 5 defensive backs of Chandler, Ellaby Williams, Anthony Gathers, the cousin of Jumpy Gathers, and Brown. Drake Brown is out there. It is 3rd down. 3rd and 4 for Benedict. And they're trying to go to the left side this time. And not much running room over there as they tried to get a little fancy that time, but wasn't much happening for Benedict in the form of Keith Green, the running back. And he was stacked up.
They tried to sneak Green in there. Green, what you're going to get with the Benedict offense, you're going to get a little bit of inside run, a little outside running. Bunting, the starter, he's a great runner in between the tackles. Green, a little bit smaller, brings a little bit more speed to the edge. He likes to get outside, stretch the ball to the right, stretch the ball to the left, and see if you can catch up to his speed.
That's going to bring on the punter, Kyle Green, a freshman out of Pineland, South Carolina. Had one punt a week ago, and he gets this one out of there. And the catch is made at about the 42-yard line. And not much running room for Leonard Goolsby on the return. And we'll be back with more in just a moment. We're here, South Carolina State with the ball over Benedict. Let's go down to the sideline to Nicole Watson.
All right, Charlie, the gentleman that you saw being helped off the field not long ago was number 76, a left tackle from South Carolina State. His name is Bobby Collins. The trainer sat him up on the table. He's complaining of pain from his knee down on his left leg. Dr. Jeff Guy has told me he has a sprained ankle and a strained knee. Now, they hope that Collins will be back in the game. They're going to tape him up. He says he's ready to go. They want him back. He was a first-team preseason all-conference, so they need Mr. Collins back out on the field.
All right, thank you very much. And it's 1st down and 10 for South Carolina State at the Benedict 33-yard line. Keeping the ball is McCampbell, and McCampbell gains a yard down to the 32-yard line. Not much running room for him there as he was brought down by Herman McCord.
Eugene Ford missed an opportunity to make a tremendous play. They had the right defense called. They shot a blitz from the outside. He just has to wrap up a tackle. Eugene Ford's a better player than that. He made 9 tackles last week against Lane, as well as an interception.
Let's see how potent this defense for Benedict is, because it's the second time they've had their backs against the wall. South Carolina State starting deep in their territory. This drive starting at the 33. And this time the keeper by McCampbell moves the ball down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 5.
And right now, you know, if you're Buddy Pugh, you have to be a little disappointed. They gave you a freebie. You came away with nothing. Right now, unless they convert this 3rd down, there's a good opportunity they'll come away with nothing as well. With Benedict, you know, you dodged a bullet once. Can you dodge a bullet twice? We have to see.
Got a shot there of Alonzo Schuler, number 98. And the first pass of the ball game, and it's complete. And Metcalf, number 88, comes up with the reception for a 1st down. And that was the first pass of the ball game. And let's look at the quick post.
Great call. Metcalf's got a big body. 6'4", 200 pounds. Put your body in front of the defender, so the defender has to come through you in order to get to the football. Great call down there in the red zone. Quick slant, move the chains. 1st and 10, South Carolina State.
Dixon had to come up to make the stop defensively for the Tigers of Benedict. Again, going to the air, a fake pass, and now the quarterback, McCampbell, decides to keep it. 2nd week in a row that the Bulldogs have had to play some Tigers. Last week it was the Tennessee State Tigers. This week it's the Benedict Tigers.
Hey, well, maybe they call themselves the Tiger Killers.
Tiger Killers, that's right.
On the tackle, number 62, Herman Belton.
One of the things you have to take a look at here with McCampbell, a couple things you have to do as a quarterback. When you get in the red zone, and that's inside this 20-yard line here, you don't want to turn over the football. You don't want to get sacked. If you get sacked, it's a longer kick for your kicker. Get rid of the football.
Brings up a 2nd down and 10. McCampbell looking to pass, throwing the little fade into the corner of the end zone. We're going to get a couple flags down in the end zone. Jesse Owens may be the man who is guilty of the defensive infraction, as the pass downfield was intended for Mike King out of Manning, South Carolina. Also down there is Sean Roberts. That's who you see there, the free safety, number 28.
He was guilty. Michael King came out, gave him a double move. He sold him on a hard slant on the inside, broke it out to a post corner timing route, but the defense back, you're taught, hey, if you're going to get beat, don't give up the touchdown, give up the penalty instead.
Sam Jones.
Defensive pass interference. First and goal on the 2.
As you take a look here, what you're going to see, he's going to give him a hard move on the inside here, and then he's going to break outside. We couldn't quite see him. The defender right here knows he's beat because he's got the wide receiver behind him. Anytime a defender is beat towards the end zone, they're taught to hold him, trip him, kick him, do whatever you can to slow him down.
At least he doesn't get in the end zone.
Exactly.
Make him earn it. First and goal at the 2 after the interference penalty against Benedict. South Carolina State leading 6-0, threatening to put some more points on the board. And they keep it with Trevin Smith. He made it look easy, didn't he?
Untouched into the end zone.
Trevin Smith with a 2-yard run. So for Trevin Smith, who had 82 yards a week ago, his first touchdown of the season, he's a transfer from South Carolina. And we talk about all these transfers. Buddy Pugh was an assistant there for 5 years. He comes over to South Carolina State, and he brings some talent with him.
Yeah, and that's going to happen a lot. When you recruit a kid so much, you know his parents, you know his story, you know his high school counselor, his high school coach. They kind of trust you with their son. So they want, if you leave and go to another school, they're going to continue to be with you because they're familiar with you.
They're going for the 2-point conversion as they are 3 for 5 in extra points this season, and not much happening there. They don't get the 2.
Herman McCord.
McCord came up big on that one to stop the 2-point conversion. So let's watch Trevin Smith, how easy he makes it look behind the big offensive line. He just waltzes in untouched by human hands. 12-0 is our score. 12-0 our score here. South Carolina State on a pair of rushing touchdowns, one by McCampbell and one by Trevin Smith. And the kickoff comes down to the near side, and it'll be Keith Green bringing it up the field for the Tigers of Benedict up to the 33-yard line. And that's where they're going to work, trailing 12-0. And we'll be back with more here in the first quarter from Columbia, South Carolina. Jay Walker, Nicole Watson, Williams-Brice Stadium. Great crowd on hand here for this Palmetto Capital City Classic. Last year they played it the last time they played it was down at South Carolina State's campus. And I'll tell you, they had to turn away
it's too big.
A whole lot of people.
I can tell by the crowd here, it's too big.
So they moved it here. And here's the option to quarterback. Marcus Walker picks up good yards up to the 41-yard line, a gain of 8. Let's look at the touchdown once again that put South Carolina Stayed up.
Let's take a look here at the traps. You got the inside trap being caught here. You got a body on a body on a body, just opening up lanes. This is the zone blocking scheme, trying to find the running back just picks whatever holds best for him. And he does a great seal block here to spring the running back here. That's what happens when you get a body on a body. Running backs just make yourself small and explode through the hole.
2nd down and 2. The 3-3-5 defense. It looks like there's when you look at that defense, there's a lot of gaps for people to run through, doesn't it, Jay?
It does, and it's a helter-skelter type of defense. What you can do against this type of defense is lean on it. If your offensive line can dominate the front 3, because they only have 3 linemen, and get those big bodies up on those linebackers, you can run on it. But it is designed to stop the run. So what South Carolina State defense does have the ability to do is not change personnel.
Look at Ellaby, the cornerback coming up to make the stop here.
Yeah, and more important, he's got to get up to that second level. If you let these little guys, these DBs come running up there with a full head of steam, number 27s and 37s and 23s, if they're allowed to get their momentum, they can tackle with the best of them. If you get a body on them first, then you can eliminate their efficiency.
A loss of 3 on the last play brings up a 3rd down and 5 for Benedict at the 37. Walker. And boy, he was body slammed. That looked like WWF that time, didn't it?
Man.
Huh? That was Eugene Williams out of Darlington, South Carolina. 6'3", 250.
I don't know if they're not going to call a penalty on that, Charlie. I mean, you want to come out here and be physical. True, he's upset because he's not ready. As he gets out here, the quarterback should have maybe pitched the ball. He had a better opportunity. That may be a personal foul there. I mean,
and it may not be on the guy who slammed him. It may be on someone else. Eugene Williams slammed him, but it was an elbow came in there. That's what may be what it's about. But there's another flag down by midfield, so we may have another penalty downfield, maybe a defensive holding penalty. Let's see. Sam Jones will sort it out for us.
Dead ball on sportsmanlike conduct on the coaching staff of Benedict College. Those penalty offset.
So you had 2 penalties as you look at the penalty in the situation. Penalty situation down on the field. Don't forget, this month NBC will launch a new season of great entertainment. Starts with Lou Gossett hosting Story of a People Tuesdays at 10. Real Reviews then featuring funny man Zoo Miller will air Thursdays at 8:30, and the new hip-hop video show 3D's Funk Studio, hosted by former NBA star Dennis 3D Scott, slated for Friday at 10 p.m. right here on the NBC Cable Television Network. And there is Coach Tony Felder. He's
hot.
He's out on the field.
You know, you got to protect your quarterback there. I'm sure that's why he's on the field. I mean, it looked to me like they clearly had stopped the quarterback's momentum, and they want to go slamming into the ground. So he's a little hot. As a quarterback, you want your coach to protect you like that.
Here's Tony Felder. He wants Sam Jones to eject the player from South Carolina State. And he said he slammed it. You can tell by what he's saying.
Yeah. He's got a little form of that slam there. He's trying to explain it out to him. How do you do a wrestling move on the football field and still be allowed to play football?
And we talked to Tony Felder yesterday and found out what he felt it would take to win this year.
Well, and we're going to have to stop their offense. We're going to have to stop their running game in the quarterback. We're going to have to make sure we don't make any mistakes defensively, and we're going to have to score in each opportunity we get offensively, both on special teams and when we get in the red zone.
Very, very important. Well, the argument still won by the officials, and it's a 4th down punting situation for Benedict College, and Kyle Green is back to do the punting. Left-footed kicker gets it away. Goolsby will let it bounce, and it rolls dead right at about the 15-yard line. So after not much happening, the second punt of the afternoon, and it'll be South Carolina State leading 12-0, getting the ball for the 4th time. The first possession, a touchdown. The second possession, they were stopped at the goal line of Benedict. They got down to the 1, couldn't get it in, and then their last possession, they scored on a 33-yard drive to take a 12-0 lead.
They got the ball. They're getting the ball back for the 4th time. First time they're having bad field position. They've gotten the ball in great field position before. So now let's see if they can establish a long drive. If you're Benedict on the other side, hey, let's make these guys go 3 plays and out so we can get our offense back on the field with a chance to make this a close football game.
They started at their own 16. That was a 45-yard punt by Green. On this particular drive, that's like you said, Jay, their worst field position. Prior to that, it was their own 45, the first possession of the ball game, and it is 1st down and 10, South Carolina State. And now Sam Jones has called a timeout. We have a delay of game. They let the play clock run down on them. That is South Carolina State. One of the things Buddy Pugh talked about coming in was instilling discipline, and not only on the field, but off the field also. And that's one of those things that probably irks him more than anything, those type of penalties, delay of game, because that's a discipline issue.
It is. And it definitely, we got to keep in mind, these men are all under 21 years of age, and you're going to have discipline problems in life. So he's going to help them out with a lifelong lesson and teaching them discipline now that'll help them in the future.
Quarterback McCampbell keeps the ball, scrambles forward, but not much running room before he's finally brought down. And, of course, there's a penalty flag down on the play. This time, Alonzo Schuler coming up to make the stop defensively. The tackle. Calhoun County High. And we see face mask against Benedict. So the penalties of what's hurting Benedict at this particular time. Last week, Benedict was penalized, let me see, 19 times in the ball game. Between them and Lane, they combined for 43 penalties and over 400 yards.
19, so that means that Lane was penalized 23 times. Yeah. I don't know who you get upset with. And
they keep the ball on the ground, and It's Watson on the run. Let's go down to the sideline in the cold.
All right, Charlie, just a few minutes ago, Julius Adams, the defensive coordinator for Benedict, took his team to the side and said, listen, this is totally not acceptable. We have to learn to close them out. Now, Adams is a Texas Southern University graduate, and he knows of which he speaks. He played 16 years in the NFL with the New England Patriots and oftentimes led his team in tackles and sacks. He said, we have to get the same defensive prowess as the South Carolina State team. Charlie?
And he was a coach here in 1997, Julius Adams, when they revived football in Columbia on Benedict's campus. That pass intended for Metcalf, and it falls incomplete, a little too big.
I remember when he was a coach. I mean, when he was a player, he was a fantastic football player, and he had some just intensity all over the place. As you take a look there at the South Carolina State defense, Coach Wells getting together his game plan on how he's going to attack the Benedict offense, trying to inspire his troops as well.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the 25. And the keeper to Watson. And Watson is hit from behind. Watson on the carry. Kamal Maxwell is the man who made the stop.
Right now, it seems like Benedict is starting to understand how South Carolina State is trying to attack him. You know, right now, watch for McCampbell to give a fake to that inside dive. He's given it to him several times already. Don't be surprised to see him pull that ball out and do a bootleg along the outside.
McCampbell rolling right, throws, broken up. Good defense on the far sideline, that time by Tony Wilson. He had an interception a week ago, and he's quick. He played basketball, ran track, all that in high school. Yeah,
I had an opportunity to talk to Coach Harper about Tony Wilson. As you see the quarterback here, break contain. Number 9 does a good job of making the quarterback feel it. If the quarterback's trying to run the football, you got to knock his head off so he doesn't want to run anymore, and he wants to be a quarterback instead of a running back.
Kenny Smith was the man who hit him. Here's a punt. First punt of the ball game by South Carolina State. This is Keith Green on the return. Keith Green, a little juke to the outside. He's at midfield, 45, and runs out of bounds at the 42-yard line of South Carolina State. So Keith Green made the crowd a little excited here with a 27-yard return.
Fantastic return, showed some football speed with some football instincts. Look at this, what looked like Willie Mays catching the ball over the shoulder. Look at all these defenders on this side of the hash mark here. You take a look there, they're all over on this side. There's room, they got money over there. They got money, go get the money, chase the money. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, no, not quite fast enough. That number 4 for South Carolina State's got some wheels too, because he did a great job, Michael King, of taking away his angle. He was beat.
Best field position of the afternoon for the Tigers of Benedict. 1st down and 10 at the 41 of South Carolina State. And now pass, the first pass for them. And it's complete. We may have 6. At the 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Rampersant on the reception. 41 yards from Marcus Walker.
It's football. Good throw, great catch. We talked about Curtis Rampersant at the beginning of the game. He plays to the level of his competition. Well, they're a Division II school right now going up against a Division I AA school that's supposed to be one of the best teams in the country. Rampersant there made himself big, huge play. I like the way he went up and he got the football, and he's strong enough to run through those tackles.
You got a chance to see him last year as they go for the point after when they played Howard University in Washington for Howard's homecoming. Is Brian Simon, who suspect kicker, gets it up, but he makes it, and it's 7 points on the board for Benedict, and it's a 5-point ball game, 12-7 with 25 seconds left here in the first quarter. Let's watch the pass right again.
A 3-step drop by the quarterback, get it to your wide receiver, look and go up and get the ball, and then watch this. This is just speed, and he's big enough to run through the tackle at the end and lean. An outstanding job of Rampersant. Take a look at him out here. All he's going to do is try and get to the middle. You'll see him come in here outside. The defensive back is behind him, and then he just runs through the screen. He runs through the defenders. He's a big, strong kid. He's 6'4". He weighs 200 pounds. He's from Johns Island, South Carolina, and that performance I saw last year against Howard University was one of the best wide receiver performances I've seen in a long time. But that purple uniform, that number 84, does he remind you anybody at all?
No. You played with him, huh?
You don't watch the NFL, do you?
You didn't play with that guy.
I miss Moss by a little bit.
Yeah.
I miss Moss by a little bit, but I know Randy Moss when I see him.
Well, I'll tell you, that number may mean something here this afternoon. Rampersant on the reception, 41 yards out of Johns Island, South Carolina. And the kickoff. Trying to reverse is Watson. And not much running room for Watson as he gets it back out to about the 13-yard line. But we have a penalty flag down.
Right now, South Carolina State's not careful. The momentum is starting to turn.
Must have been offsides on the kick because the flag is all the way back across midfield.
Offside on the kickoff.
MBC is your family's urban television network for positive programming the entire family can watch. This month, we want you to look for new editions of some of your old favorites. Spiritual Impact, hosted by Willie Gary, will air Mondays at 8 p.m. You can enjoy new episodes of The Lounge Wednesdays at 10, and the informative and entertaining conversation piece airs Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the NBC Television Network. No violence, no sex.
No crime.
No crime.
That's the way life should be, shouldn't it?
No question. As you look at Buddy Pugh in the middle of the pack there, talking to his special teams, they're going to kick it again, this time from the 30. Oliver Buddy Pugh, very successful high school career, spent 5 years on the University of South Carolina's coaching staff, 3 under Lou Holtz, and I'll tell you, he's done a fantastic job. Came in with a great attitude, a short kick this time. It's going to come down to one of the up men who bobbles it for South Carolina State and falls on it finally at the 28-29-yard line.
Smart play there. I don't know if you want to make a living kicking the ball to Derek Watson. He's got some shake, and clearly it takes more than one guy to bring him down. So they tried a little pooch kick there, and they almost got a turnover.
That was Sherrod Pritchett who fielded the ball for the Bulldogs. So the ball is going to be marked right at about the 30-yard line, first down and 10. As you look at McCampbell's stats today, 12 of 44. South Carolina State with the ball. McCampbell pitches it outside, and there's a flag down again.
Number 22, Chris Burgess.
That's a wide receiver running the ball. Chris Burgess, we were looking at possibly holding against South Carolina State. There's Chris Burgess.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
One of the things that they did against Tennessee State was run their receivers on a lot of end arounds a week ago. Burgess carried the ball 3 times for 20 yards. Metcalf 1 for, no, he had a reception. He didn't carry any. He had 4 receptions for a touchdown, but they don't have a problem doing that. Aaron Alexander, the other wide receiver, ran the ball last week once for 22 yards on the end around. This time McCampbell wants to throw it. Has a little screen going on the near side and has it complete to Watson, who's really, really upended. Oh, that's not Watson. That's Trevin. That's Trevin Smith. Yes, the running back out of the backfield.
And one of the things that Eugene Ford is going to do, he had 9 tackles last week. He's got to continue to keep hitting all day. He's going to be the run stopper all day.
And let's look at some of the plays of the first quarter. Here's a touchdown run by Trevin Smith. And here's the touchdown pass to Rampersant. 41 yards. It's a 12-7 ball game. We'll be back. Under our belt as we start the second quarter. I'm Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker, Nicole Watson here in Columbia, South Carolina for the Palmetto Capital City Classic. Benedict College and South Carolina State doing battle, and South Carolina State with a 5-point lead and the ball at a 2nd down and 9. McCampbell throws the flag down and the ball is tipped. We may see holding against the offense.
McCampbell's got to hit that guy. Benedict came out with a 2-deep zone. The middle of the field was wide open, and he just threw the ball behind him.
The umpire threw the flag, so normally when that happens, you're looking at holding. Willie Little is the umpire in this game. Sam Jones, our referee.
Offensive holding, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Ted White is also the head linesman. Keel Green, the back judge. Ray Daniels, the field judge. James Mitchell is the side judge. And a first at 1AA. A young lady by the name of Anise Kennedy from Florida is our line judge. Nicole will have more on her at halftime. McCampbell on the keeper, the quarterback keeper, and he gets it out to the 32-yard line. He'll be bringing up a third down and about 8.
We talked about Eugene Ford being the run enforcer for this game. If you take a look, if we ISO on him, watch him. Quarterback breaks the pocket, boom! He's going to put a helmet on a helmet. Not only is that going to hurt your shoulder, that's going to give you a little headache, make it tough for you to think about your next play.
No question about it. So to bring up a third down and long, passing situation, little screen to the left side to Trevin Smith. And he is not going to get to the first down marker as he's brought down from behind there. And doing a great job is Eugene Ford, the senior out of Fort Pierce, Florida, number 27.
If they're going to have any success on defense, Eugene Ford is going to have to be around the football all the time. Even if one of his teammates is holding him up, he's got to be there to put him away. You don't give this offense a second chance, meaning somebody breaks a tackle and they get to continue to run downfield. Look to see him around the football all day, and if you do see him around the football all day, that means good things are happening for Benedict.
So the second punt, not a good one, high kick. He does take a South Carolina State bounce, though, down to the 25, 24-yard line. And there's a timeout on the field. We're in the second quarter, 13:30 the time remaining. 12-7 is the score. Where South Carolina State has a 5-point lead over Benedict. Let's look at the rest of our September football schedule. Next week, a doubleheader here on NBC. It'll kick off at 1:30 in the afternoon. Morgan State in Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium for the Riverfront Classic against FAMU. Jay and I will be in Arkansas for Pine Bluff and Southern. Then September 21st, of course, Tuskegee and Miles, a triple header, Delaware State and FAMU, and the Silver Dollar Classic from Las Vegas. And then on September 22nd, we'll have the Whitney Young Classic, Alcorn and Hampton. And I'll tell you, a busy schedule. Then we'll close out the month of September with the Willie Geary Classic from Jacksonville, Florida. Edward Waters and Shaw University. First down and 10. Benedict now trailing by 5. Walker back to throw. Lets it go. Has a man open. It's complete. Down the sideline goes the big fella. I'll tell you, talking about Rambling Rose.
Charlie, it's getting hot in this stadium.
That is Rolando Schuler, the tight end.
Take a look at the big tight end. He's going to come from the three-point stance. You're going to see him shoot across the defense this way. And that quarterback leaves the pocket here a little bit, clears over this side of the field over here.
37 yards on the catch and run.
Look at the big fella. Break out wide open. That's called hitting the guy in the soft spot of the zone. And that's boom. And then pow right there. That's just hard hitting South Carolina style.
No question. Anthony Gathers caught the brunt of that. 37 yards on the catch and run by Tony Shula, who has a twin brother, Alonzo, on the defensive side of the ball. And it is first down and 10 at South Carolina State's 38. In motion was Rampersand, and a mix-up on the play, a fumble, and I believe South Carolina State will not get the ball this time as Benedict retains possession. There's only been one turnover in the ball game, and that happened early on. And actually, they didn't score on it after the...
They've been lucky. That's why we're at a 12-7 score instead of looking at 18-0. Because typically when teams get behind by a whole lot, they press the issue too much, and the lead just gets bigger instead of smaller. One of the things we know, we talked about Marcus Walker in the opening, he's not going to turn the football over a whole lot. So if there's a quarterback and center exchange, I'm going to blame it on the center just because I'm a quarterback.
Well, you know, I was just looking at Walker's stats as he's going to call a timeout. He's 2 of 2 in this ball game. But more importantly, you used to talk about how when you prepared for South Carolina State, you knew that you were going to get hit, but a ton of times, and you had certain things that you knew you were going to try to accomplish in those games.
Sure. I mean, the South Carolina State defense, the way it's set, they've got bodies flying all over the field, and it goes back from the old Coach Jeffrey era. They want to make the quarterback feel it. So you're not going to have a high completion percentage, but there's a capability to throw for a lot of yards like we saw with Rampersand. We'll talk about it coming back.
client needed a ride home and did the right thing. Use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
He needed a ride. He had nothing to hide.
Don't start that, Johnny.
He knew he could save big bucks on every call.
Who did he call?
His best friend.
You can't blame the guy. The girl is fly.
He dialed right down the center, 1-800-CALLATT.
The defense rests. If he needs a friend, he'll do it again. If the car gets stuck...
Come on, before she lock us up. Use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. It's free for you and cheap for them.
Here you're looking at Coach Tony Felder, 5th year as the head coach at Benedict. Record of 19-24. His team trailing by 5 with the ball in South Carolina State territory here in the second quarter with 12:38 to go.
He's got the ball and some momentum, too, because they've come back. They fought their way back into this football game.
At the 39 of South Carolina State, 2nd and 10. Moving people around. That was Fuller who moved into the slot to the left. Marcus Walker with some running room. Takes it upfield, cuts it back, fumbles the ball. And South Carolina State has it at the 30.
South Carolina State got the ball back.
Second turnover for Benedict, unfortunately for them.
Hate to see that happen. Quarterback does a great job here of making something happen. He didn't like what he saw on the outside. He reversed his field, which is dangerous, but he got away with it, cut up, and just go down there. See, that's why you wonder why quarterbacks are taught to slide all the time. You've already gotten the most yards you can get. He'd rather have that football back than going for that 1 to 2 extra yards that he was trying to get.
So they started at their own 25, got it down to the 28 of Benedict, but fumbled it away.
What does this mean to me right now? It means that South Carolina State learned from their lesson last week. Benedict got a lot to learn.
As you look at Marcus Walker on the sideline, had a long talk with him yesterday at practice. He said the biggest thing he had to make an adjustment in moving from wide receiver from a year ago, the quarterback, was reading those defenses. And he's done a pretty good job so far today. Here going to the opposite side is the other quarterback, McCampbell, who runs out of bounds at the 35-yard line after a 7-yard gain. Let's go down to the sideline and Nicole.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. Well, there are less than 6 degrees of separation for these two teams. 3 coaches on the Benedict squad call South Carolina State their alma mater. First, Dwayne Harper, who was a graduate of South Carolina State. He's the D-backs coach here. He spent some time in the NFL with Detroit, San Diego, and Seattle. Also, the offensive coordinator, Charlie Downtown Brown, is the offensive coordinator. He spent some time with the Redskins and the Falcons as well. And last but not least, Coach Felder. He's a 1980s graduate of South Carolina State. So when it comes to rooting for your alma mater, in this one, all bets are off, Charlie.
All right. I was wondering who they were going to root for today, but I guess you root for who signs your paycheck,
Who signs your paycheck. Dwayne Harper's a great guy. I mean, first-year coaching. This is a guy I know, one of the few guys I know that's played football just forever. I mean, as a cornerback, your longevity is not supposed to be that long.
12 years, what?
He played for 12 years as a cornerback, and not only did he play, but he excelled. I mean, he played in the XFL most recently, and I remember seeing him in the XFL championship game getting interceptions and returning them for touchdowns. So if you're a football player, you're a football player. Then obviously we know, Charlie, about Downtown Brown.
Player down for Benedict College, and I believe that's Herman McCord, who's had a pretty good game so far. Looks like a cramp. Hopefully that's all it is. But you know, as we look at the play once again, see what happens to number 62 there.
Looks like that ankle got caught right there at the very end of that play.
What they're working on looks like
that ankle.
Either a calf muscle or something of that nature. But it was ironic. She was talking, Nicole, about the 3 coaches that came from South Carolina State, but 3 coaches on this staff, including Julius Adams, who was the head coach for 1 year, left and then came back with Tony Felder. All played in Super Bowls. Charlie Brown played with the Washington Redskins in 2 Super Bowls. Julius Adams played with the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. Not last year, though. Not the Super Bowl winning year. But and also Dwayne Harper played with the Chargers in the Super Bowl. So you have Super Bowl experience. As you see McCord coming off under his own power, that's a good sign.
That sure is. I mean, there's no other experience in football. That's the climax in terms of getting to a Super Bowl game. I mean, you've got those rings. They help in recruiting, and they help because your players respect you because they want to get to where you've gone. So having 3 coaches on the staff, NFL as well as Super Bowl experience, that's awesome.
Charlie Brown had 2 of his I should say 2 of his rings, his 2 rings on.
Bling bling.
Yesterday. Yeah, it was. Here is McCampbell for a first down to the 40 of Benedict.
McCampbell's doing a good job running the football. You know, I see what they mean. This offense is kind of exciting to watch. I mean, you know, are they going to give the ball to the running back or is he going to keep it? He's got to be like Houdini a little bit. As you see here, is he going to give it to him? No, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to follow him, and then I've got a lead blocker taking me up the seam. But once you get there, those safeties, they're going to start hitting them. Sean Roberts came up and made the quarterback pay.
13 yards on the gain, first down and 10 to the 39. And Benedict, player dropped off sides but got back. Here is McCampbell. He'll go to the outside, breaks a tackle at the 30, down to the 20-yard line, and a flag goes down. Let's see what the flag is all about. But McCampbell, Sean Roberts finally made the stop defensively for Benedict.
I'll tell you what, Reese McCampbell is a heck of a football player. I mean, to be a quarterback, he's got some shake and swagger to him.
Well, you know, early in the game last week, Coach Pugh was ready to pull him because he had made some mistakes. They turned the ball over a couple times.
Offensive holding.
And he left him in there.
Still first down.
McCampbell with 73 yards rushing in the game. That penalty will nullify that run. But he said, I was ready to pull him, he says, and then I guess he thought a little bit. He left him in there, and he's glad he did because the young man just had a whale of a ball game.
He thought right.
282 yards of total offense against Tennessee State. That's a program that's not too shabby in its own right.
Not at all. And I know it's going to be interesting to see how they rebound because they had high expectations over there at Tennessee State.
First down and about 8 after the penalty. And they're trying to keep it on the ground. The end around this time as Chris Burgess. This is his second carry. And Burgess is very close to, if not, he has picked up the first down. Buddy Pugh, of course, we know he replaces a man. You know, anytime you replace a legend like a Willie Jeffries, well, we'll see how he feels about it.
Tough, you know, the guy, you know, Coach Jeffries is the full, the total package. And, you know, he's a great public speaker. You know, he's a really good football coach. He's just a really good guy. You know, our kids love him. Heck, I love him. You know, it's a hard field. And sometimes, you know, you don't attempt the field. We just try to see if we can take the program, you know, to places that that he didn't get the opportunity to.
Well, he has a great opportunity to do that. And one of the things that you could say about Coach Willie Jeffries, he went out a winner. And he won his last 5 games last season. Of course, we saw in the opening his last game against Norfolk State. Here's a team that's won 6 games in a row if you go back to last season. And they have not allowed defensively anyone to score on them in the second half the last 3 ball games.
As we see the fumble there on the exchange, but more importantly, and I think the Coach Pugh really loves this, he left the cupboard full. This isn't a football team that's got all the senior class came along. They went 6-5, and next year they want to go 6-5 again. On this team, you've got one offensive sophomore that's getting playing time, and on defense, you only have one sophomore getting playing time. Everybody else is juniors and seniors, so it takes a heck of a coach to step down, knowing he's got all that coming back. But that shows you how much he loves his school, South Carolina State.
He also, as they keep the ball to Watson, I'll tell you, someone took a good pop at the quarterback there, McCampbell. They don't let him.
They're tired of him right now.
Yeah, they just go pop him even when he lets the ball go, right?
Yeah, just to use a little slang, they sick of him.
Watch this. Right after he gives the ball to Watson, watch this hit.
Bam! Yeah. You got to keep your head on a swivel, especially as a quarterback. I mean, you know, I don't know if you've got the ball.
That was Brockington. Nick Brockington.
Fooled me a couple times.
Yeah.
They weren't going to go for it again.
Well, here's Watson still on his feet, driving people back down to the 5-yard line. Determined run. First and goal, South Carolina State.
Well, that's just pure determination. I think he saw the other transfer get a touchdown. He wants to taste that end zone too. That's just pure hard running. He's 6'1", 210 pounds with a lot of step. We talked about him transferring earlier. This is his actual first start. This football game was. He didn't start last week, so this is his first start for South Carolina State. And he came in with a lot of hoopla. And right now he's trying to show you what the hype was all about.
He had 1,066 yards 2 years ago at South Carolina. His first player to do that since Deuce Staley back in 1996.
You know, that's 1,000 SEC yards. So, you know, those yards don't come easy.
That's right. Tennessee and some of those other schools that they must play in this conference, in the Southeast Conference. That was short. I thought he had the first down. He's about a half a yard short. So it'll be 2nd down and 1 at the, let's say, 4.5 yard line. That's where they're going to place the ball.
You got to work on your SEC pronunciation of those schools. See, I played with some SEC guys, not Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. You know, you got to work on that.
It's like our
South
friend over
Carolina.
here from Mississippi.
Well, with that one, they just say MISSISSI double PPI.
It'll be 2nd down and 1. Our statistician is Lynn, graduate of South Carolina State. She's from some town in Mississippi, West Point, Mississippi. They didn't get it.
Play.
Watson stacked up defensively there by Kamal Maxwell. Loss of 2.
Great play. Down here we talked about you get closer to the goal line, make somebody miss, and make a tackle right there. And you see right there, he just made his guy miss. Don't give the running back a lane to run in, and just make yourself big. You know, get down there and make the hole just almost non-existent. Good play there by the big fella.
3rd down and 2. Full house backfield. Giving it to the big fullback. And let's see if he was able to do anything with it.
It's going to be close.
South Carolina State keeping it on the ground with Goolsby. That time on the carry.
One thing you can say about this Benedict team, when they get their backs up against the wall, they stand up tall. They don't just let you get away there. Those big guys step up big. Brockington and Schuler and Kenny Smith and Sue and all these guys, you know, they like this goal line. They take it personal.
1st and goal, they made it. Sherrod Pritchett is in there in the middle. And they move the power forward, and they say he's touchdown. Pritchett with the carry. South Carolina State.
Just came out with a pure full house backfield. We've talked about this term over and over again. Man-on-man blocking, just leaning on them. You got those guys that play that front line for South Carolina State. They go 300 pounds, 285, 280, 270, 300 against the Benedict D-line, which is 250, 280, 205, 220. So, you know, sooner or later, the laws of gravity are going to take over.
Guy DiPaolo with the point after attempt. It's blocked. He has struggled today. 2 of 4 last week. He is 0 for this afternoon.
You see here, we talked about earlier, just putting the body on the body with a little bit of a lean, let gravity take over, take it in for the touchdown as we come back in a minute. We come back here to South Carolina with the score being South Carolina State 18, Benedict College 7. Down on the sidelines, the lovely Nicole Watson is waiting for us.
Hey, thank you so much.
We're going to kick this one off first before we go to Nicole. And coming back up the field with it is Fuller. Fuller breaking a couple tackles and gets out across the 30, and we get a penalty flag down. Let's see what the penalty is all about. Fuller on the return for Benedict College, just aimed down 18-7. There's the signal from the official. Here's a couple of Super Bowl rings.
On the run back on the receiving team. 15.
It's a 15-yard penalty on the run back. Let's go down to Nicole Watson now.
Here, he was a little reluctant to show those, but he has a Heisman Trophy ring and a Super Bowl ring with the Washington Redskins. Please welcome George Rogers here with you. You're home right here?
Not a doubt. You know, Benedict at South Carolina State, what a game. And, that's why I come out and support my people, I like to say. But it's a great game and good that they can come out here and have this tradition start over again.
You had over 8,000 yards rushing in the NFL, an incredible talent. First pick coming out in 1981. Do you see any true talent when you look out here at these guys?
Oh, yeah, I see a lot of talent on both sides of the field. I think, if you want to talk about one player, Derek Washington is certainly one of my favorites out there. And of course, Benedict got some players I think is going to make it in the draft too. But the thing about this thing is that everybody come out and have a big tailgate party and have a real good time. And South Carolina people are so fortunate to have such a great stadium and let all these people come and share it with them.
All right, George, thank you so much for spending some time with us. And Charlie and Jay, did you know that there's a George Rogers Boulevard? Do you have a street named after you?
I heard he built this stadium. That's the house that George built.
Well, he did. In fact, he added the upper deck. It is first down and 10. Rampersad on the reception, 13 yards from the quarterback, Marcus Walker, who's back to pass once again, steps up in there, lets it fly. Incomplete, just over the outstretched arms of the intended receiver, James Fuller, out of Brunswick, Georgia. Fuller just couldn't catch up to it.
I like that. What you're doing here, you got to take a shot. Look at all these guys that they have around the line of scrimmage trying to get pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback says, hey, if you're going to blitz me, I'm going to take a deep shot. Anytime you get blitzed, meaning you have more than 5 guys rushing the quarterback, it's man-to-man coverage all over the field. One-on-one matchup, you can make a big play. So I like what he's doing. He's saying, blitz me if you want to, but if I hurt you, I'm going to make you pay big.
How does that affect and work, and how does the 3-3-5 defense in South Carolina State affect what they're trying to do?
Helter-skelter. I mean, it messes up your lines blocking schemes. You don't know who's blocking who. Hard to see a blitz coming. So you really do have to focus on your read. Just focus on your keys.
And a draw play, and still dancing around trying to find somewhere to run is Keith Green. He's quick.
He's quick. He likes to run outside. South Carolina State did a good job of making him cut back in the middle. He only weighs 175 pounds, so you don't want that 175 pounds in there with those big 295-pound large guys. So Keith Green is trying to just make some things happen.
Let's look at our student athlete for Benedict, Terrence Bunning. Here's the running back, sophomore out of Beaufort, South Carolina, with a 3.5 grade point average, majoring in biology. Student athlete from Benedict. Here's Walker under pressure. He's going down. He is going down under Ken Jones, who will celebrate his 23rd birthday tomorrow. Ken Jones out of Augusta, Georgia, the senior.
What you got here is you got the quarterback taken back. He's looking for his initial read. Nobody's there. Ken Jones separates from his guy and beats him off the ball. What I used to tell my linemen, well, if you get beat that bad off the ball, off the line of scrimmage, don't let him go yell. Yeah, Jay, I can see him coming and do a spin move or something.
Let me out of here now, huh?
Oh, no.
He rushed it, too. He saw the pressure coming. That is the punter for Benedict, and that is Kyle Green. He rushed it at the left-footed kicker and still got a decent roll across midfield to the 47-yard line. We're in the second quarter, 4.5 minutes to go. 18-7 is our score. The score, and let's look at that last punt by Kyle Green. It was only 29 yards, but he just about got it off. Look how low it went.
For all you golfers out here, he's like sculpted this football right here. You see this? This ball's going to drop all the way down here before he finally kicks it, and he gets it just with the tip of his foot. This is a skull, and he got a fortunate roll. Anybody out there with some golf knowledge?
Everybody doesn't play golf.
Including me, man. Try at it. Oh, he fumbled. What a play.
Let's see who came up with it. If Benedict came up with it defensively, a great defensive play that time by Tony Wilson. And let's see if they're saying the ground caused the fumble.
Ground didn't cause nothing. Tony Wilson caused that. I hate to see him take it away from it. That's where you kind of got to wonder. Okay, true, the ground did cause a fumble, but was it the hit that made you hit the ground awkward that made you cause the fumble? Tony Wilson from Newberry, South Carolina is coming up playing cornerback. Corners aren't supposed to be able to hit like that. He's going to decleat this guy on the low end, and the ball, I mean, that's yes, the ground caused the fumble. Was it because of the hit that he just took? I think the answer is yes. You got to use a little bit of judgment there.
A loss of 10 on the play. 2nd down and 20. McCampbell looking to throw. Has a man in the middle of the field. Has it complete to Alexander, his 2nd reception of the evening. And Alexander gets 19 of those 20 yards back. It'll be...
this is just like stealing. Every time South Carolina State gets in a throwing formation, Benedict comes out playing a cover 2, leaving the middle of the field wide open. And that's the 2nd time today Aaron Alexander's gotten to the middle of the field. They missed him earlier, remember?
3rd and 1 at the 49 of Benedict. As you look at Alexander out of Charlotte, North Carolina, West Charlotte High. Trevin Smith, 1st down. Inside the 40 to about the 37-38.
What they're doing is they're mixing them up a little bit. They're getting in that shotgun, but that shotgun's just for show. I think we all know that they really do want to run the football right up the middle of the field right now. Keep leaning on those guys. And Eugene Ford is playing his best out there. He's going to have a sore neck at the end of the game. You don't want your safeties making that many tackles.
Trevin Smith beside the quarterback. He has the ball. That's the quarterback keeping it this time. McCampbell gets down to the 30-yard line. Good run for McCampbell. And he's finally stopped defensively by Kenny Smith. Don't forget at halftime the sounds of the game. We'll get a chance to see both bands. The Marching 101 from South Carolina State and the Marching Band of Distinction from Benedict College, all coming up at halftime right here. We're in Columbia, South Carolina, and here we go. Trevin Smith ducks into the secondary once again. He goes into a pile, and then all of a sudden he just comes out of there, Jay. Picks up 3-4 yards, and you wonder how he does it.
Well, he keeps his feet moving at all times. That's the key to a good running back. You always keep your feet moving in the same direction that you want to go to. Don't move them backward. Move them forward. And if you're pumping your feet and another guy is just trying to bring you down, then you can get that extra lean. And the great running backs have that lean. I tell you who a great leaner was Walter Payton. Had that lean. Always lean forward, not backwards.
Positive yards. Here's Trevin Smith into the secondary at the 5 and down to the 1-yard line goes Trevin Smith.
I like that. You see, he come out there chopping those feet, make me look like I know what I'm talking about there, Trevin. He's still got the hot foot, as we like to say, and he's hot right now. And just going right there. What he's going to see him do is just bust through. They've been running the same play all day long. Benedict hasn't figured it out. Look at the athleticism to get through the hole and then just accelerate, try and go through the tackle. He made one guy miss, and that's another mark of a good running back, having the ability to make the first guy miss.
22 yards on that run. Pritchett, who scored on the last possession, as the ball goes into the middle of the line, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage. So to bring up 2nd and goal.
And that's almost a good play for South Carolina State. If you are going to score a touchdown, you don't want to score leaving Benedict too much time on the clock. Give them the football back with 30 seconds left, 25 seconds. Make them throw. You might get an interception. If you get it to them with a minute and a half, 2 minutes, they can run a good 2-minute drive on you.
So to bring up a 2nd down and goal. The ball at the 2-yard line. Under a minute to go here in the half. Coming to the near side is Watson trying to turn the corner. Touchdown.
Whoa. Derek Watson just trucked Jesse Owens. Derek Watson got to the outside and delivered a blow.
And so with 49 seconds to go here in the half, it's now a 24-7 ball game. Watson 40 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown so far in the game.
Explosive player. He's done his part. He bounced to the outside, made somebody miss, and he got into the end zone. Now, I guess the key question is they're going to go for 2.
They're going for the 2-point conversion. Pritchett in the middle.
Same play.
Smith on the right. Watson on the left. T formation.
I call the same play.
Going to the opposite side. This time, Trevin Smith trying to turn the corner. He won't get there. Defense rose to the occasion for Benedict College. Eugene Ford came up to make the stop. Just watched the touchdown once again, and Watson doing it. He's used to this field. He's played here a lot, hasn't he?
He sure has. And you see there, watch the blow right here. He comes up there, 19s come up there, and what running backs do when they smell that end zone, they're going to do whatever it takes to get in there. They don't want you to get a ball to somebody else in the next carry. He sees right here, as you see Jesse Owens come up, and anytime that running back gets his shoulders into your chest, oh, you're going to go for a ride. Just hold on tight.
Well, in defense of Jesse Owens, he was at the goal line when he made contact, so it wasn't much he had to do. I could have fallen in.
Charlie, I've been in those meeting rooms. There'd be no defense when they're looking at that film and your teammates are saying, ooh, you got hit. But he made a good tackle earlier, too. So what goes around comes around. Football saying same things that'll make you laugh will also make you cry.
So the last two possessions by South Carolina State have resulted in touchdowns. Pritchett with the 4-yard run, Watson with the 2-yard run, and they lead it by 17 with 49 seconds left in the half, 24-7. The kick comes down to Fuller. Fuller breaks out of the pack. Fuller may have something. Fuller at the 40. Dances backward and is dropped at the 45-yard line. Anthony Gathers saved the day for South Carolina State.
That is the great thing about this. I mean, take a look at Fuller here. He's going to get the ball. He wants to hit this initial seam in here. He's going to make a couple jibber-jabber moves somewhere down the line. Good spin move. He's going to come out of the tackle here. Keep the feet churning. Keep the feet churning. Keep them going. Look at those things there. He's going to high step him a little bit, give him a little shake, make him miss. Gathers did a good job not to slip and fall.
42-yard return for James Fuller, sophomore out of Brunswick, Georgia. He had a 79-yard touchdown or kickoff return for a touchdown last week against Lane. Under pressure, the quarterback, Marcus Walker, and he goes down hard.
Oh, he got hit hard. I mean, he got hit. They had a blitz coming from the outside. It looks like his blocker on the weak side picked up the blitz, but just didn't do too great a job blocking here. He got too far inside. Right here, big guy, number 77, missed him on the outside blitz. You see, he had nobody to block. He was blocking air. In that case, you got to get up and you got to tell your buddy, hey, man, help me out. Jabari Ellison there missed his assignment on the blitz outside pickup. Anytime you see a lineman not blocking anybody, that's not a good sign.
Greg Brown had a wide open lane to go to. Let's check out NBC Network CEO, the noted trial attorney Willie Gary, who's hosting the first annual Willie Gary Classic. It'll be September 28th in Jacksonville, Florida. Edward Waters College taking on Gary's alma mater, Shaw University, with the proceeds from the contest and other associated activities during the weekend being donated to the two schools, Edward Waters and Shaw. You can purchase your tickets through Ticketmaster and go online to the MBCNetwork.com for more information.
Somebody saw some guy walking on the street. He said, Willie Gary got me $500 million in the settlement case.
And don't forget at halftime,
this is what you like right here, Charlie. This is what you like. They're getting ready. They're looking. He's looking out here. He's looking for his mom. He's looking for his dad. He's showing off the Marching 101. They can't wait. They're doing stretches. Everybody's getting hyped up. I want you to see who they are. He's on TV. That's what it's all about. It's more than a game, Charlie. More than a game.
It is 2nd and 15. Walker stands in there, throws it this time behind the intended receiver, but pressure on the quarterback once again. He just managed to give it away as Marcus Walker out of Blacksville, South Carolina, recruited by Appalachian State. Spent a year at a military college down in Georgia before coming to Benedict College. He was a receiver, wide receiver.
If he keeps getting hit like that, he may ask to go back to the other side of the football or get out from underneath that pressure they're doing. Right now, South Carolina State, they're blitzing every time Benedict tries to pass the football from somewhere, and they just don't know where it's coming from just yet.
3rd down, 15, ball at the 49. Has time, throws, and is complete. And down for a first down inside the 35 to the 34. And on the receiving end is Rolando Schuler, the tight end, his second reception. And Benedict calls another timeout with 5 seconds to go in the half. They have a first down, so basically what they're going to have to do is try to get it in the end zone. Hail Mary, something of that nature.
Yeah, you definitely. They've got an opportunity. The key is they've got it in a range where the quarterback can reach the end zone with his arm. A lot of times, teams try to do Hail Mary from 50 yards away, 50 to 60 yards away. Much tougher throw, gives the defense more time to react.
This is a program that was absent for many, many years. They dropped football in 1966 after starting in 1912, and they brought it back. And since coming back in 1997, they've gone 22-32. Of course, Julius Adams was their first coach. He won 3 games his first year back. And then Tony Felder came in 98. He went 4-7 that year. 99, he went 500 at 5-5. 2 years ago, it was 5-6. And last year, 5-5 again. Of course, they had a game canceled because of 9/11. And so they played 10 games a year ago. So they're revitalizing football here in Columbia at Benedict College, and they've just been accepted to the SIAC. This is their first year. They were in the SIAC many, many years ago. Here's Walker with some time. He's going to take off and run. Can he get there? The clock is out. And he's still on his feet, and he's dropped down at the 13-yard line as the first half comes to an end by DeWitt Ellerby. But they ended the first half on an exciting play, and there's an injured player from Benedict down at the 10. 24-7 is our halftime score. That was a 24-yard run by Marcus Walker. Let's go down to Nicole Watson, who's with Buddy Pugh right now. Nicole?
All right, Coach Pugh, you told me in the beginning of the game you got to mix up your offense. Almost 200 yards rushing. You to keep your game plan the same?
Yeah, pretty much. They're playing 5 guys in the box. They're not really pushing anybody outside. So, we just got to continue running until they do something to stop the run.
All right, Coach. Congratulations on the first half. We look forward to seeing the game in the second.
Thank you a bunch.
All right. Thank you a bunch. I know he's a bunch happy because he's up by a bunch. He's up by 17 points. MBC Network will be broadcasting an unprecedented number of live black college sports this year. We feel our schedule is strong, and we play hard, both on the field and behind the scenes. And we're committed to bringing the best of black college sports. Let's take a look. MBC Sports Video, written and produced by the new hip-hop group 2EK. Also thanks to a great team of NBC producers. Right now, down on the field, the sounds of the game. It's the South Carolina State famous Marching 101 under the direction of Ronald J. Sargent. He's been there, 24 years, and the young ladies that dance with the band are called the Champagne Dancers. Let's take a listen to South Carolina State's Marching 101.
Sit back and relax to a flute-filled glass of sparkling champagne. It's getting hot in here. Oh, yeah. question. It's Champagne. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the electrifying dance routine by the Marching 101. With nothing but the best in today's hip-hop. Featuring the sounds of Mr. Big, it's time to go to trial. Hey Marie, why don't we fall in love? Pastor Troy, are we cut? And Mario. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and show some love for the Marching 101 from Orangeburg, South Carolina. We, the Marching 101, would like to thank the Palmetto Capital City Classic for your outstanding support. Well, it's been fun. And always remember to play the magical South Carolina lottery number. You better play 101. You heard?
South Carolina State's Marching 101 under Ronald Sargent and the Champagne Dancers. And we'll be back with more Sounds of the Game in just a moment. Sound of the Game, the Benedict College Marching Band of Distinction getting ready to take the field. Sean Daniels is the band director in his third year. The color guard are called Divine Silk, and the dancers are Sweet Sensations. Let's go down on the field now and enjoy the Benedict College Marching Band of Distinction.
Their version of precision and drill while playing Wish I'd Never by South Carolina Bulls, Angie Stone, arranged by Isaac Bell. As they perform Shaka Khan, hit number 1, I'm Every Woman, arranged by Mr. Isaac Bell. Tiger fans. Give it up for them. Oh yeah. As the band move into formation, let us all get prepared for the quiet storm, featuring our ladies of the color guard, Divine Silk, as they perform to Isaac Bell's arrangements of Lover's Holiday by the eighth wonder of the world, Earth, Wind, and Fire!
Okay, you are listening to the sounds of the Band of Distinction here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. Hello again, everyone. I'm Nicole Watson. This is a very special game for everybody here today, and most impressive for the MEAC Conference. You see, this past week, they introduced the first female game official on the Division I AA level. Anise Kennedy is a line judge here, and she is so impressive, has had so many years of experience, 10 now, but she's not only battling the battle of life, but also the battles on the gridiron as well. Let's take a look at Anise.
Cancer. I had cancer, started being a therapeutic thing. I had basically in 89, 90, I had cancer in my left breast. Go out on that side of the field. Almost forgot I had cancer until 1993. Then my right breast, and then battled that. Then, I was in between officiating football. As soon as I thought I was better again, I get back out there again. Then in 94, 95, my right hip in the muscle. I ended up having a lump there, probably as large as a grapefruit, inside of the wall. So I had to learn to walk all over again. There, they thought that was going to be it. And then after that, as soon as I learned to walk all over again in 1997, first thing I said was, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to the NFL. After this, nothing can stop me.
Now, Anise Kennedy is just one of the personal profiles you will see on an upcoming series that we'll have here on MBC called The Yard. It looks at the rich tradition and culture that is historically black colleges and universities. We've got the second half of coming up with Williams-Brice Stadium from Columbia, South Carolina. Benedict is trailing the South Carolina State Bulldogs 7-24. You're watching Black College Sports on MBC.
Some of our first half highlights, and it started out early on with South Carolina State scoring on McCampbell's 7-yard run. He's working around the right side and getting it into the end zone. They missed the extra point. Then Trevin Smith takes it in from 2 yards out. Again, the 2-point conversion failed. Then Benedict got on the board. Here's Walker, 42-yard reception or pass to Rampersad, who outlegs the defense and gets it into the end zone to put them on the board. It's 12-7 at the time. Pritchett's 4-yard run made it 18-7 in favor of South Carolina State. And then Watson scored on the swing to the right side, gets it into the end zone over Jesse Owens, and it's 24-7. That's the way we stand at halftime. And Jay, when you look at those stats, one thing that probably stands out more so than anything is time of possession.
Definitely. You take a look here at the bottom of your screen, 21 minutes to 8 minutes. That's almost a 3-to-1 ratio. If you take a look up top, what did Benedict want to accomplish? They wanted to be able to run the football successfully. 32 yards in 1/2 means you're going to end up with total rushing yards of around 64 yards for a whole game. That's not what they look forward to. They're having some success throwing the football, but as you see here, this one pops up. 198 yards rushing for South Carolina State. That's exactly what they wanted to do.
When you talk about those 198 yards rushing, 88 of them was by Reese McCampbell, 55 for Trevin Smith, Derek Watson with 40 on 10 carries. So they're doing a pretty good job on the ground. Let's go down to Nicole Watson, who's with Tony Felders.
Okay, Coach Felder, a last-minute run in the end of the first half there. What changes are you guys going to make for the second half?
Well, we just got to tighten it up on defense. We're moving the ball offensively and doing some things offensively. A couple bad breaks, fumbles, and we just got to turn it up on defense. They're not doing anything. Just running it at us. We just got to tighten it up on defense.
I saw Coach Adams getting really adamant with the guys back there. Did he say anything to you about the second half?
Well, just play some football. Just come off the ball. Defensively, we got to beat them up front.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Good luck. Charlie, back to you.
All right, Nicole. Again, adjustments that you see.
I think one of the things that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to just put more people in the box. You're going to have to dare South Carolina State to beat you with a pass. Letting somebody beat you for 200 yards rushing in 1/2, that's just unthinkable. It's nothing you can do. So I don't care if they have to sell out a little bit in their pass coverage in order to stop them running the football. They've got to. Because think about it. If South Carolina State continues to run at this rate, not only will they not have the ball, Benedict, in order to score, but South Carolina State's just going to run out the clock.
Oh, you saw Buddy Pugh coming on the field, and hope you're enjoying tonight's game. And you take a minute and visit our website at MBCNetwork.com for sports schedules, contest prizes, and more info on the network's family program. One of the other things I talked to Coach Felder about when we talked about going into the season, one of the things he said, he felt the defense was ahead of the offense. He wasn't so sure after last week's game when they gave up 30 points to Lane College. And this is one of the things that I think is concerning them again tonight. The defense is not responding the way he feels they should respond.
And I can understand. Typically it's a lot easier to put in a defense than it is an offense. So going into it on practice on a chalkboard, I can draw up a defense that can stop any offense. But ultimately, when that whistle blows, then you can tell what type of players that you have. So typically you can pick up an offensive scheme of what the other team wants to do and attack it on paper. But getting on the field is another thing. And I think he's seeing that. Although he thought that defense was really dominant, well, they got a couple twerks, they got a couple perks they have to work on. But they've done a decent job this half. He's got to be impressed.
Last week against Lane, they gave up 185 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. And one of the things that I asked Coach Felder, I said, when you look at the quarterback you're going to face this week in Reese McCampbell, and you look at the quarterback you faced last week, Tim Lawson from Lane College, which one would you rather face? He says, well, I'd rather face Reese McCampbell because his plays are designed to do certain things where Lane's quarterback, Tim Lawson, was a guy who was a scrambler. So you never know where he's going to go. He's just helter-skelter all over the field.
And I think if he could ultimately, if it were just that simple, then this game would be a lot closer than it is. I think you underestimate Reese McCampbell's ability a little bit. He's a heck of a runner, and he's got the ability to do more than just scramble, but to create as well. Because we saw that first drive. He set the tempo with that spin move to get to the end zone.
Coming back on the return is James Fuller down to the 40-yard line, still on his feet, and finally out of bounds at the 44-yard line in front of the South Carolina State bench. There may be a flag down.
flag down, and if you're Benedict, you hope there's a flag, because it seems to me like he left his luggage on the football field, which was that football.
Now they're sorting it out on the far sideline over there. Who came out with it? Are they saying it's South Carolina State's ball or what? Yes, it was a fumble. So let's look at it once again.
And one of the things you'll see here, he's running, trying to get that extra yard. It's just a heck of a strip. Wow, 51 did a good job of getting his hand on the football. And look at that. He just left his luggage right there on the sideline. What 57's got to do is, rather than try and get that football and grab it when it's behind you, just knock it out of bounds. You guys already had the football. Now they lost it. Coming out, we talked earlier about this. They've got to find a cure for these special team woes. You're not going to be the team that's a little bit better than you if you make turnovers on special teams.
So at the Benedict 45, South Carolina State starts the second half with the ball. They gain a yard or two on the play with Trevin Smith on the carry.
On the carry, number 7, Trevin Smith.
Very important first defensive series for the Benedict defense. See if these changes they made at halftime are going to work. Try and make South Carolina State throw the football a little bit.
Well, one of the things also that was concerning Coach Felder was the secondary. He felt that defensively, linebackers and up front linemen, they were doing pretty good, but they still gave up over 200 yards passing last week, and this is an incomplete pass in and out of the hands of Michael King.
3rd down, 9.
So to bring up a 3rd down 9 situation, the ball resting at the 44-yard line of Benedict.
And this is one of the reasons why that they're able to get their running game off as quickly as they can. They've been able to get away with everything by just manhandling these guys by schematics.
McCampbell with the screen to Watson. Watson has the first down, and he's down at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, South Carolina State.
Do you believe the hype now? Do you believe the hype?
44-yard run by Watson.
As good as advertised. That is what you call a football run. Designed to go one way to the left, have the football ability, and more importantly, the football instincts to go against the grain of the defense and walk into the end zone untouched. Tremendous run by Derek Watson. We talked about it. Hey, he wasn't Mr. Football in South Carolina for nothing. This is a heck of a football player here.
Apollo, who has not hit a point after this evening. He's missed every one. He missed 2 last week, after having such a successful season a year ago, and the crowd loves the fact that they finally got an extra point on the board, their first of the evening, and the lead is 31-7 with 13:56 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, and Watson picking them up and laying them down. 31-7. To you by Verizon.
But you called me up tonight and let me know what you did, so we can let the Metro know what you did, all right? So you don't
Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker and Nicole Watson here is there as you look at Mr. Watson. A pair of touchdowns for him so far this afternoon. And here's the kickoff on the far side. And on the return is Keith Green. Not much running room for him. And let's look at the touchdown. A 44-yard run. He had 40 at the half. All of a sudden, one run gives you 84. Didn't take long.
One of the things we talked about, he made a great run.
It was a screen. It wasn't a run. It was a screen pass.
It was a screen. We talked about Eugene Ford having to make plays, number 27. As he comes into your screen there, he missed the tackle. If he misses the tackle, he's the last line of defense. We said he was going to have to be a key contributor to this defensive effort. He missed the tackle. South Carolina State made a play. Derek Watson made a fantastic run, and he had the football instinct to make him slip and fall.
From their own 23-yard line, Benedict with the ball for the first time in the second half. They fumbled the second half kickoff, which allowed South Carolina State to increase their lead to 31-7. Here's a quick pass out in the flat, but it goes incomplete off the hands of the intended receiver, Rampersant. Covering was DeWitt Ellaby.
Trying to get the ball to their most explosive football player on the field when they have the ball on offense. Just got to complete the pass. Every now and then, football can be so complicated but so simple. Throw the football where the defense isn't. Let your guys catch the ball and run with it. Make them make you if you're a quarterback. That's what Marcus Walker has to do. He did a good job of it last week.
And he completed passes to 5 different receivers. Only 2 have been on the receiving end this afternoon. That's Shule and Rampersant. 2nd down and 10. Walker play fake and gets it complete down the middle to midfield. He threaded the needle in there that time. And there again is Schuler, one of the 2 receivers he's completed passes to this afternoon. And Schuler continues to pick it up. That's his 3rd reception.
And all you're going to have here is just a simple seam route run by Schuler. He's got a big body on him, so all he wants to do is run there, beat his man to the spot. Schuler's not a little guy. He's 6'6", 250 pounds. So if you throw the ball up high, he can jump up and get it if you overthrow him. That's a good decision by the quarterback, knowing who you're throwing the football to. Guy 6'6", you want to miss him high before you miss him low.
Schuler out of St. Matthews, South Carolina, 28 yards on the reception, 1st and 10. And Walker again stands in, flushed out of the pocket. That looked like interception. It had it written all over it. In fact, the offensive player had to play defense in that case, and that was Willie Brown. He had to keep Gathers from intercepting that ball because it was right in Gathers' mitts.
Tony Gathers, he had an interception last week against TSU. They say that he can just flat cover. His nickname is Smiley. I see why. If he'd have caught that one,
he's smiling anyhow. He's smiling because he broke it up.
He made a break on the football. I mean, he can cover, and that's just instinct right there. It's being able to cover. Where have I heard that name Gathers before?
Jumpy.
That's right.
Jumpy Gathers, who is his cousin, and Robert Gathers both played in the NFL. Jumpy Gathers, of course, defensive end, played with the Redskins. So there's a lot of famous players in here. We got the Metcalf kid. We got another young man from South Carolina State whose dad played Bethea, who played in the NFL. There's a screen they're trying to set up inside. Little slant pattern inside, and the receiver almost had his head taken off, but they pick up the 1st down to the 35-yard line, and the receiving.
Take a look what you're going to see here. He's going to come across. You're going to have a guy slide in here the whole time. The line is blocking out, ready to go get somebody. Here comes the receiver in here, and then once he gets in there, his job is to attack the seam in the middle of the field and make him miss, and then get down. He learned early. He turned the ball over a little bit earlier. Get down after you got the 1st down. Don't try and lose the football trying to get that extra yard.
And that was Keith Green on the reception for Benedict, only the 3rd receiver, different receiver that they've hit this afternoon. And they try to keep it on the ground and go left with Terrence Bunting on the carry. Picks up a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And our NBC trivia question of the week: how many members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame are from historically black colleges and universities? And a hint is one of the schools playing here today has some members in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We'll give you the answer to that question a little later on.
How many people are actually in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
You want me to count them? I count them on one hand.
I'll give them a clue, too. One went in this year from a black college. One was inducted this year.
It is 2nd and 7.
Trick play.
And they have it complete. And it's Rampersad on the reception from Keith Green. So Keith Green started like he was going to turn the corner on an end run, and then pulled up and threw it, and Rampersad on the reception, 1st down.
They faked a little dive option here. They're going to do the option out here, and then this Rampersad act like he was going to stock block his guy and then sprint by him. You get the defender going up, and then you run by him. Good pass and way to just make sure you get the catch. More importantly, I like the fact that the running back didn't try and act like he was all of a sudden Steve McNair and throw a pinpointing perfect pass. Just get it to him when he's
just lay it up there, right?
Yes, sir.
On the option.
Oh, good move.
And cutting back and down to the 10, a gain of 2 for the quarterback, Marcus Walker.
Good move. Johnny Williams came in there with a full head of steam, and Marcus Walker kind of put a little on him.
So at the 10-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 7 for Benedict College. They trail 31-7, their only score, coming on a Walker 42-yard pass to Kurt Rampersad, and that was in the 1st quarter, and it made it a 12-7 ball game, and they have been quieted ever since. They had a couple of opportunities, had a couple of turnovers, a key just to start the 2nd half here, which the South Carolina State Bulldogs were able to convert into 6 or 7 points, I should say.
Oh, hold on to the ball. Oh.
That's something you can ill afford to do, and that is James Fuller, the receiver, and coming up with it big for South Carolina State Big number 85 there is Deshaun Gregg.
I'll tell you what I like. I like how big number 93 sniffs this out. He sniffs it out. He causes a little havoc. He makes Fuller do something he doesn't want to do, have to create a move that far deep in the line of scrimmage. And then, you know, once they sniff it out there, get rid of it. I mean, he could have thrown the ball to the sidelines and got away with it. A little too much trickery here. It's a fake option reverse. Got there too quick. 93 made that play happen there. That was a fantastic job that Adrian McLeod did there. I mean, awesome job there. He sniffed it out, make them blow up the timing and the rhythm of the play, and see what happens with turnovers.
And that's the 4th turnover for Benedict in this ball game. Keeping it on the ground once again. South Carolina State grinding out the clock. You know, a lot of people said, well, Willie Jeffries was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but this is a different type of cloud.
Well, you know what? It's that same cloud. Now, you're getting that same dust, but you're getting it from different angles, different looks.
Right.
For years, you know, Coach Jeffries, he had little guys like Marvin Marshall around there ripping and running, couldn't chase him. Well, now they're just spreading you out a little bit more, but they still do want to run the football. I can see that now.
And trying to get to the outside with not much running room is the quarterback, Campbell.
As you see, you know, they've been having success driving in the middle. This is what the problem is that Benedict defense is having. They've been getting the ball run on them all day long up the middle of the field, and when the quarterback decides to pull it, you need cornerbacks to come there and make plays. If you're going to stop a team from running the ball, your linebackers have to make the plays. You can't have your safety, Eugene Ford, making every single tackle for you, because he's going to miss sooner or later.
That's 10 turnovers that South Carolina State has created in the last 2 ball games. Campbell couldn't go anywhere that time. And one of the things that Coach Hugh coming in said he didn't have to do a whole lot of transition, and there hasn't been a lot of transition in the defense needed, you know, dating back to last season. One of the things they haven't done is given up any points in the second half in the last 3 ball games. Last week, plus the last two final games of Coach Willie Jeffries' career.
And you can tell the well-coached teams do well in the 4th quarter. Their job is to go out there and win the 4th quarter with a great kick. Wow.
And it downs all the way inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line.
What a kick there. You see the leg on that one.
There's a timeout on the field. We're in the 3rd quarter. We're in Columbia, South Carolina. And we'll be back.
MBC Network, your family's urban television network. Catch the game. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat.
We're here, Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. We're in the 3rd quarter, and of course Benedict College trying to get something going. South Carolina State, though, one of the things Coach Buddy Pugh said at the beginning of the season was the offensive line was going to be the key, and so far they have lived up to the expectations. They've done a great job.
Oh, I mean, they've done more than a great job. They've done a phenomenal job. They rushed for 200 yards in the first half. The big guys up front, the twins, all those guys, they're just running inside traps all day long, and they've been very successful, and I think he's a proud coach today.
He is. There you look at the stats on Walker, and they have the ball back at their own 4-yard line, 1st down and 10. He wants to throw it, and it's incomplete. On a quick slant, trying to get it to Rampersad.
One of the things you got to give them credit for, they realize they haven't had success running the football, so they still do want to run the football. Benedict, what they have to do is get some passes to get the South Carolina State defense to loosen up, because right now those Bulldogs, they smell run, and they're trying to get that bone.
Well, they got him backed up there, and it's a 2nd down situation facing the Benedict Tigers. Next week they go down to Tuskegee to play. Things don't get any easier. SIC matchup. South Carolina State will be home against Wolford in the Hall of Fame game, and one of their famous alums will be inducted into the South Carolina State Hall of Fame, and that is Harry Carson.
Got him open.
Wide open. Overthrew a wide open receiver downfield. South Carolina State is lucky. James Fuller was wide open. And Bunning just Just overthrew it.
I mean, we talked about this in the earlier drive. When the guy's that wide open, just get it to him. South Carolina State smells blood. They know Benedict is trying to run the ball. Well, what do you do to compensate for that? Well, you feed him a little bait. It's like when you go fishing. You put the worm on the hook. Fish sees a worm, he's going to bite no matter what. South Carolina State Bulldogs sees a run, he's going to commit up to try and get to him. In that case there with Bunting, he's just got to put the ball out there, let the receiver make a catch and run for all those yards. Don't try to be Steve McNair or Randall Cunningham or Warren Moon. You just be Terrence Bunting and get a completion.
Third down, 3rd and 10. Walker this time will try to throw it himself. Throw the screen out of there, and it goes incomplete. We get a flag because it's touched by a lineman. I don't think a receiver, eligible receiver, touched the ball, and I think that's what the call is going to be. An eligible receiver.
Yeah, but that's a loss of down. One of the things
he did. Ineligible receiver downfield. Goes to refuse. Falls down.
That's a little bit of leadership there, too, because he realized he was going to get sacked. He was just throwing the ball. He didn't want to have grounding. He'll take that penalty there. That way he doesn't get the safety. He gets to punt the football, and now you're relying on your defense again. The only problem, they've been relying on this defense for a long time.
We're talking about them playing Tuskegee next week. Of course, Tuskegee and Coach Rick Comegys, what they've done over the last couple of years, ranked 13th in the Division II poll coming into this season, the coaches poll.
Phenomenal job that they've done down there. Turn that program completely around. And, that's a tough conference down there.
Goolsby is the deep man for South Carolina State. Good left-footed punt. And he's driven back to the midfield stripe. And he's dropped down at the 40-38. Timeout on the field. We're in the 3rd quarter. 46-yard punt. 31-7 is our score. We'll be back in a moment.
Back to the Palmetto Capital City Classic in Columbia, South Carolina, where the Tigers are taking on the Bulldogs. The score now 7-31 with South Carolina State leading. With me now is a man who is on a mission for his conference. That's the SIAC conference. Robert Vowles, who is the commissioner, who has somewhat of a corporate approach, if you will, to his conference. What do you think that approach is going to do for them?
Well, I tell you, branding and exposure is extremely important to us. The awareness creates awareness for corporate sponsors, for alumni associations, for the student athletes. So we're out here trying to push this game.
Mr. Vowles, we're going to go back to Charlie Neal, okay? Thank you so much. We'll have more from you later.
All right, Robert Vowles of Metcalf just burned him with a 38-yard touchdown reception from the quarterback, Reese McCampbell, and they just increased their lead.
Going into the game, we said that Terrence Metcalf was one of those big-type players. He's a long strider, 6'4". He's got the size, but 6'4", those legs get to turn. If you're a defensive back and he's running a go route on you, you got to turn and you just got to run and play catch-up. No looking into the backfield, which I think the defender did.
Plus, as the point after is good, the fact of the matter is you're thinking run. They've been running the ball all game very effectively, and this is a first down play, and what else can you do?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback did a phenomenal job there. If you've got a guy running a go route on the outside of the field, he's going to freeze this guy right here, this receiver, that's the defensive back that just left the pictures back here. The quarterback's going to give you a pump fake just to hold him in place to allow the wide receiver an opportunity to get on the outside. Keep that safety in the hash mark in the middle of the field, throw the ball deep outside. This guy right here is going to be pumped with a pump fake, allowing Metcalf all this room from here on out to get to the end zone. That's just putting safety in a no-win situation.
Let's go back down to Nicole.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. 11 schools now in the SIAC, Benedict being the latest addition. And Mr. Vowles, tell me what you can do about the schools increasing. I know scholarships have been upgraded and handed out on a more prolific level, but tell me what the schools adding to them is going to do for this conference.
Well, anytime that you increase the schools, you increase exposure for the schools. Having events like this helps the exposure, helps kids want to come to this, come to these schools and look for what we're trying to offer them.
When you get out here and you see a team like Benedict, I know that you were once being wooed by the SWAC conference as commissioner of them. Everybody wants that corporate attitude. First of all, are you being considered still for that position?
Yes, we're still talking. Talks are going on, and I'll let you know at a later date. How about that?
All right. He's giving up no information here, guys. So I guess we're going to look at Benedict and the Bulldogs going at it. Charlie, Jay, back to you.
All right. Thank you. I got inside information. It's a done deal. It's just a matter of when.
So, you know, they throw you in jail for insider trade nowadays. You better go ask somebody, Charlie.
I don't benefit from it, so it doesn't matter. The return by James Fuller. Well, Benedict now trailing by a score of 38-7 as they've given up a pair of touchdowns here in the third quarter. They were down 24-7 at the half. First down and 10. They have the ball. Some of the crowd on hand. 26
What are you doing in there? Get out of there. Go get some muscles. I'm trying to hog the camera. You know, Charlie, this is one of those situations I hated being in. You're on a neutral ground. You're down by a bundle, and the band is just playing, and everybody's ready for the party to begin.
Incomplete. Well, it is complete, but no gain on the play. And it goes to the tight end, Schuler. And here's turnovers. Benedict tonight, 4 turnovers in the ball game.
A lot of these turnovers just trying to do a little bit too much, trying to get that extra yard, trying to create something that's just not there.
Here's another one.
Well, Fuller's had a tough time holding on to that football tonight, hasn't he? That's something I know what he'll be doing in practice this week.
Now, you remember at the beginning of the game, Jay, we talked about the keys to winning for Benedict. No turnovers on offense, dominate the running game, and defensively unleash the hit squad. Well, that's South Carolina State. They haven't turned the ball over, but on the opposite side, Benedict has.
I think if you take a look at no turnovers on offense, check mark. Have they dominated the running game, Charlie? You can answer that one. You don't even know football. So that'd be a check mark there. And then did they unleash the hit squad? I think if you ask Marcus Walker, did they unleash the hit squad? He's going to give him a double check there because he's been feeling it all day.
Well, you know who's been kind of quiet is Drake Pooler. And we haven't called Harrison's name all game, you know, but they do the intangibles. Just because they're not making a lot of tackles, they may be doing other things that's causing havoc and creating problems for the offensive squad out there.
And that's when you give your defensive coordinator a lot of credit. They're just beating them on schematics right now.
Walker in trouble, and he's down. Well, earlier, we asked you if you could tell us how many members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame are from historically black colleges and universities. Well, you ready for the answer? There are 18 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The first one to go in was from this school that's in the white jerseys right now, South Carolina State. That was Marion Motley. He went in back in 1968. Of course, you said the last one was this summer, John Stallworth from Alabama A&M. So 9 different schools, 18 members, 2 from South Carolina State. This one goes over the head of Goolsby. And we're in the third quarter, 4:55 to go. 38-7 is our score from Columbia, South Carolina. I love it.
Coming your way on Saturday.
Don't forget, Rock, September 9th. Fall program, 8 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And on Wednesdays, from 8 to 8:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
That was an awesome show there.
Don't forget, next week, Jay and I will be a part of a doubleheader. First doubleheader, black college football. And we'll be in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We'll kick it off in Cincinnati with the Riverfront Classic between Morgan and FAMU. Dwayne Ballin and Mark Gray will be in Cincy for that. Later that evening, Nicole, Jay, and I will be in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And there's the total yards, 328 for South Carolina State. Fair catch being called for and made at the 13-yard line by Goolsby.
I'll tell you one thing, the punter from Benedict, he's got a lot of leg on him. You know, they've had some special team trouble, but it hasn't been because of him. I mean, he avoided getting the one kick block. He scolded and still got good yardage on that. So some people just have those magic legs. And so, trust me, the coach can appreciate it because once you got a punt in place, you can add the other parts later.
53 yards on the punt by that young man, Kyle Green, out of Pineland, South Carolina. Last week, he only punted once against Lane, and that was for 33 yards. But he's had a pretty strong kicking afternoon here in Columbia. South Carolina State with the ball. We're in the third quarter, 4:41 to go at their own 13. and leading by 31 points. And they keep the ball on the ground. Now we'll see a lot of, I'm sure, substitutions, some people we haven't seen in a while. There's a young man right there, Maxwell, in the lineup for South Carolina State.
Good hard runner, brings a little bit different look than Trevin Smith. They've got similar build. Maxwell's got a little bit more of a more luggage with him, as you can say, a little bit more luggage in the caboose.
He led the team in rushing a year ago, 870 yards, 11 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry, and he's not even starting this year. So what does that say about depth?
Or we got a penalty flag here on the play here in terms of the depth.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's just South Carolina State. South Carolina State's going to keep a running back. running back by committee.
Second down, 6, 17.
Of course, Willie Jeffrey spent many years there. 19 years at South Carolina State, 5 at Howard, 5 at Wichita State. And here we go again.
Oh, wow.
And this time, getting to the outside and picking up good yards
Quarterback number 3,
is Reese McCampbell. We're in Columbia, South Carolina for the Palmetto Capital City Classic. And we're on the campus of the University of South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium. I'm Charlie Neal, along with Jay Walker and Nicole Watson. Glad you could join us for our NBC Game of the Week. South Carolina State in their home visiting white jerseys, and the purple jerseys of the home team belong to Benedict. And here's the pass out in the flat to Maxwell, who just lost his footing. And boy, Maxwell just lost his footing and fell down just shy of the 40-yard line.
Well, I tell you, that sniper gets more and more accurate over the years. We used to call that the sniper tackle.
Well, you know, on AstroTurf, you got that little man that reaches up and grabs your ankle.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Second down and 6. Ball on 39-yard line.
Seems to me like South Carolina State's trying to increase the tempo a little bit. This may be the last drive for this first team offense. Doing a little bit of no huddle, keeping it going right away.
And keeping the ball on the ground again. This will bring up a third down. Third and about 5.
Number 5, again, will be Maxwell.
No,
Third down,
6.
Let's take a look at why they've been able to run the football on them successfully. As you see here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they use this running back as a lead blocker, you've got 6 blockers on 6 defenders. A body on a body, nobody will count for the quarterback. That's why the quarterback has run for so many yards, and he's doing it again here. 6 on 6, they're doing a pure number count. That's all it is. It's just kind of like in chess. Whoever's got the most pieces on the board is going to end up winning sooner or later.
And McCampbell kept the ball again, gets the first down across the 45 with a 46-yard line.
You know, as you see, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to count against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This running back is 6. Nobody's got the quarterback. If this guy is worried about these 2 guys out here, then who's going to count for the quarterback? And as you see the quarterback here, all he has to do is find the seam to run with it.
And here's Maxwell again on the carry. You know, one of the things that Coach Pugh did was he brought in a lot of transfers. Of course, 6 of them came from the University of South Carolina. There were a couple other young players that he brought into the South Carolina State program this year. And he said what it did, it gave him some infusion in the lineup in some key areas that he needed people, plus some quality depth.
I mean, definitely, you know, and football is a game of numbers. As long as fumble on the field.
And maybe a break for Benedict. Let's see. That'll be the first turnover for South Carolina State if that's the case. They turned the ball over 5 times a week ago. And it is Benedict's ball. Their first turnover of the ball game. They drove from their own 13 down to the 43 of Benedict.
Yeah, we've gone over the number count. You see there, he's just looking for a hole to run up. Every now and then, that's why he plays quarterback and not running back. You get a helmet on that football, he's got to cover it up a little bit more. And, you know, as a quarterback, you know, he's got to be able to throw, he's got to be able to run. Well, he's got to start running with 2 hands on the football. And that's just something a normal quarterback is not used to doing.
In the fourth quarter.
So for their own 43-yard line, we have
Look at this picture here. That was me once upon a time. Coach Wilson, what are you doing, dummy? Didn't I coach you better than that? And obviously we're not calling McCampbell dummy. I was a little bit dumber than he was. They hate you when you turn it over. They love you when you throw touchdowns.
Well, like I said, last week he was ready to pull him early, and then he decided to leave him in there, and he pulled out a win for them. They were down 27-20, I believe it was. We may have a delay of game against
dead ball, delay on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They were down 20-7 in the second quarter to Tennessee State and came back to win it. They scored on a 31-yard pass to Metcalf with 22 seconds in the half to pull it within 7 at half, 20-13. They tied it in the third quarter on Burgess' 8-yard run and won it on McCampbell's 37-yard run with 9:34 left in the game. So he brought them back. As the defensive coordinator, Robbie Wells, you took a look at there on the sideline for South Carolina State.
That's been a familiar picture all day. The quarterback getting up off the ground. Just to touch back on a little bit of the transfer talent that you say South Carolina State has brought in here. One of the things that I worry about with having so many transfers is they're not used to playing in the MEAC. MEAC football is a whole different beast within itself. You know, when you go to the larger colleges, you see a lot of zone coverages. In the MEAC and in black college football in general, you got cornerbacks who want to get right up in your face and they want to commit. You know, and FAMU down there is saying you can bring in whoever you want to. We played University of Miami, so we're used to playing against you.
Right. 2nd and 15. Pass incomplete. Intended out of the backfield for Keith Green, and it goes incomplete. You know, Benedict has been around a long time. School founded in 1870, and probably when you think about Benedict, one of the people you may not think about is one of its most famous alumni, and that's Dr. Leroy Walker, member of the class of 1940. He wore jersey number 11. They have retired that jersey. Nobody will ever wear it again in the history of Benedict. And of course, he was the Olympic coach in 1976, track and field coach, and was the president of the U.S. Olympic Committee when the 96 Olympics were held in Atlanta. Here's Walker. He has some running room. He can get something going. He's going to be shy of a first down. He's dropped at the 49-yard line. That was a 3rd and 15 play, and he got back probably 11 of it. So to bring up a 4th.
And what you're going to see here is the South Carolina State defense knows that to get a first down, he needs to get here. They're going to drop off, they're going to drop back here, and then shoot up here. So they're taught keep everybody in front of you, and then once they determine or declare what they're going to do with the football, then attack from the back to forward, not forward back.
I don't think they're going to punt it. I think they're going to keep the ball and try to do something on 4th down. It is 4th and 4. They'll call it 4th and 5.
I throw it up to Ramperson. I mean, why not? Give him a shot. You know, it seems to be effective today.
Now he's going to, that's the end of the third quarter here. 15 minutes of football left in Columbia in the Palmetto Capital City Classic with South Carolina State ahead.
If you're sitting in section 4.
Quarter in Columbia, South Carolina. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, and Nicole Watson, and Benedict College with the ball, going for it on 4th and 5. And trailing by 31. Walker, quick pass, incomplete. Trying to get William Brown on the slant pattern, and it falls incomplete, and they turn the ball over on down.
He had him open. He just, you know, it's tough to throw a football when you've got pressure in your face all day. And going back to South Carolina State defense, you know that they're going to give you an opportunity for a big play, but you know you're always going to get hit too, so you can't throw and flinch at the same time.
Sports fans, if live black college football every Saturday isn't just enough for you, we got more. Hey, we got the answer here at NBC. We ask you to tune into the best basketball and football games from previous seasons on NBC Sports Classics. You'll see some of your favorite matchups from the CIAA, the MEAC, SWAC, and SIC conferences. It comes your way on NBC Sports Classics every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on NBC. New quarterback in for South Carolina State. And let's see if they went with Brett Young or Link.
Chris Link, welcome to the football game. Welcome to the class.
It's Chris Link out of Bartow, Florida. He transferred in from Iowa Central Community College.
11, Chris Wake. Second down, 12.
You know, and it's so funny. I remember these times when I got into my first college football game, and, you know, take a look. We always used to joke about this. Look at the backup quarterback. Even when he gives the football, he's going to give the cleanest fakes you're ever going to see. He's going to run out every bootleg. He's going to try and look like he's all American, like he's perfect, just to contribute a little bit and show he knows what to do.
He has Maxwell, the back beside him, gives it to Maxwell. Maxwell trying to turn the corner and nothing doing on that far side over there as Nick Brockington came up to make the stop. Loss of 2.
Nick Brockington, he's been playing hard all day. I mean, you know, we know obviously seems to me like South Carolina State was a superior football team here today, but you've got some guys that have put up a great effort for Benedict. Nick Brockington's one of them. Herman McCord, we saw him early. He's been chasing the football down all day. Eugene Ford, he missed one tackle, but he's been around the football all day. These guys trying. I'm going to tell you, Benedict is not far away from getting to where they want to get to.
3rd and 15. And the ball is caught by Mitchell. Mitchell still on his feet, and he is laying it down. Mitchell cuts it back at the 5. Still on his feet. Touchdown, South Carolina State. 53 yards.
Oh, man, what a run there. That was just a little bit of that old playground football. Look, you get this guy right here. I got this guy here. Oh, I'll make you miss it and go back. Just a fantastic run by the running back there.
53-yard run by Kambui Maxwell. I call him Mitchell. Kambui Maxwell is who it was. 53 yards.
We say, you know, he brings a little bit of a different dimension. He's got a little bit of that wiggle too, with some size behind it. And now here comes the trivia. Can we get 2 PATs in a row?
3.
3. They're hot.
Oh yeah. It's up, and it is good. 3 plays. They're in the end zone on a 53-yard run by Kambui Maxwell.
Set up the screen beautifully. See here, he's got a little wiggle. Look, I'm going to cut this way. No, I'm going to go back this way. Get him. Wait, let me stop. Let me hold up. We'll be back to South Carolina.
Quarter, 13-15 to go. And, of course, the South Carolina State band with a lot to cheer about. They're the team leading 45-7. There you look at Anise Kennedy. We talked about her at halftime. First female official in 1AA basketball, or football, I should say. We talk about basketball. A young lady also making history this year was Melanie Davis, who was a member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, who worked the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament this year. So some inroads for African-American women in sports officiating. Great to see. Let's look at the touchdown run and catch and run by Kambui Maxwell. I'll tell you.
Take a look at these offensive linemen. They're all putting a body on a body. These guys are running. They're leading the entourage up this way, getting that big body down the field. And it's all it's up for Maxwell to do is just make sure he can weave himself out the way. And you know what? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 South Carolina State offensive people around, 3 Benedict defensive people. That's just a no-win situation.
Now that's good sometimes, and sometimes it's bad, because a lot of times the coaches say everybody was trying to be the first in the end zone to congratulate the player after he scored. Nobody hit anybody going down the field.
I've seen Robert Smith race Chris Carter to the end zone in a game.
12-yard return, 1st and 10 for Benedict, in trouble, and Walker goes down. Not much there for him as he is hit by Ken Jones.
Jones and Cody Lucas applying a little bit of pressure to the quarterback, and for Walker, it's just been one of those days. You know, one of the things that college football's evolved around is they're not going to let the quarterback just sit in the pocket all day and throw. You know, all these timing offenses of the 80s that Bill Walsh made real popular. You know, you got to find a way to disrupt them, and the defensive coordinator is learning what we disrupt them by just blitzing them all day long.
This is the 5th possession in the second half, only the 5th for Benedict. First one ended in a fumble after they had the first 2 possessions in the second half ended in a fumble. The first one was on a kickoff return. Then they punted 3 times, and then they gave the ball up on downs for South Carolina State. They've had the ball 5 times in the second half, 3 converted into touchdowns. They fumbled the ball once and had to punt it away once.
Their special teams, outside of the punting game, they punted the ball extremely well. But their special teams really have put them in a bind. I mean, the opening possession, South Carolina State touched the football twice in a matter before the Benedict offense really touched the field. Then to come out on the second half, they turned the ball over again on a return. So, you got to improve on those special teams. Without special teams, it's all for naught.
Back to pass. Walker being chased from behind. Pitches it out.
Makes a couple moves.
Yeah, trying to get something going is Keith Green.
He's got some shake with him. He's not a big guy. He's 5'8", 175 pounds, junior out of Dillon, South Carolina. But I think they're trying to do is they've tried to go call his number several times tonight. And you notice every time they give him the ball, it's always outside the hash marks. He's one of those guys that plays better outside of the hash marks just by his size alone.
46,000 plus on hand for this Palmetto Capital City Classic, and great crowd. I mean, they started early. They were here. Some people were here last night. They were starting tailgating. The RVs were in the parking lot when we left here after practice about 6 o'clock last night, and they started early this morning. Great punt. All the way back is Goolsby from the 26. Flag is down. Goolsby still on his feet, though. Goolsby has some running room. And he's still on his feet. Finally tripped up at the 30-yard line of Bethune, but they're going to bring this all the way back. We had a clip. There's 2 flags back at the 30.
And I think Goolsby knew it was a flag because he saw the clip happen right in his face. He was running that whole time saying, "Oh man, this is coming back."
And we have a player shaken up.
Indigo blocking the back on the receiving team, doing the run back. 10-yard penalty, first down.
A lot of times you've got these gunners, and they're just on the mission to get down there and disrupt the kick cover. But take a look right here. He's clearly got position here, and then we're going to get a clip in the back right there. Right there, the flag comes in right away. The gunner did a good job of getting down there and forcing himself to be blocked. So in that case, it's for you young football players out there, if you can get off the line of scrimmage in the jam and be a gunner, that's an art. It's not something you can just do overnight. You have to practice it hard.
Next week, NBC Sports will have a doubleheader. First from Cincinnati, the Riverfront Classic, Florida A&M with TCU transfer Casey Printers going against the Bears at Morgan State. Then Jay and I, along with Nicole, will be in Pine Bluff, Arkansas for Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff. Be with us. 45-7 is our score. And South Carolina State with the ball, keeping it on the ground, getting some reserves into the lineup. Let's go down to Nicole Watson.
All right, Charlie, a little update on left tackle Bobby Collins from South Carolina State. He has not been into the rest of the game. He will be out, obviously, for all of this matchup. He is now upgraded to a sprained knee and ankle. He's going home with some hardware. He's got some crutches and a foot boot. His dad came over to see if he was okay. He said, "Yeah, Dad." He looked like just his ego and his pride got a little bit hurt. This young man wanted to show up big for this contest. He's from Sumter, South Carolina, which is just 30 minutes away.
Sumter, not that far. Sumter High School, Bobby Collins, moved from defense to offensive line this year. And this is a great catch downfield for Deshaun Gregg, the sophomore from Florence, South Carolina. Went to Wilson High, a member of the track team, and that was good for 27 yards.
He does a good job here. This cornerback is on the island up there on the top of your screen. He's on the island completely. Good timing. He held the safety on that hash just long enough for the quarterback Link to be able to squeeze the ball in there. Good throw, good catch. That's football, ladies and gentlemen.
I mentioned earlier, and I'll clarify it after this play. Link is the quarterback right now, and he's handing the ball off, keeping it on the ground right now. That's Jermaine Brown on the carry. Next week that they're going to play Wolford, and there'll be the Hall of Fame game. I mentioned Harry Carson. He's already in their Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this past summer, Harry Carson. But South Carolina State will have 9 players or former players or persons that they're going to induct into their College Football Hall of Fame. And one of them is Edward Lee, young man who played with the Detroit Lions, lives in our area.
Physical therapist, my physical therapist.
Here's Jermaine, and he's down inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line. Goes Jermaine Brown.
Earlier we talked about the South Carolina State attack. Now what Benedict has is 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 guys on the box against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys again. All the running back has to do is find a hole, and he can take off all day long. That's what it is. You just got 5 guys on 5. It's a number count that the quarterback is doing, seeing how many guys they have in the box, and if we're going to run it or I'm going to keep it.
And again, Jermaine Brown trying to go right. Not much running room for him this time as he's dragged down by a couple of purple jerseys. Led by Nick Brockington. And let's look at the total rushing yards in this particular game. It's very interesting is what South Carolina State has been able to do. 272 to just 27.
27 yards rushing. Look here, let's make it even. Let's make this a close game. Get rid of that 272. Put the 2 off of there. Holy cow. Back to the drawing board, as they say in football.
Second down. Here's the quarterback, Link, keeping it, and Link is down to the 15.
I think that Benedict's never quite figured out what South Carolina was doing schematically. You know, they tried to make a couple of adjustments, and the adjustments didn't necessarily work. Kids played hard. I mean, it's a good, hard-fought game. We heard a lot of hitting going on. We even heard that up here.
We talk about Harry Carson, who earned his stripes here in Orangeburg. He's in 4 Hall of Fames: Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, South Carolina State University Hall of Fame, and in the NCAA Division II Hall of Fame, and now in the College Football Hall of Fame. I'll tell you who else went in that College Football Hall of Fame this summer. Brent Jones.
Brent Jones, tight end from San Francisco 49ers.
Well, let's look at the Verizon long distance play of the game. I guess you probably can guess what it is.
They hold the safety, release the ball outside. Terrence Metcalf, we talked about him in the upset, that he had to come out and make a big play. He was their big play threat. He got out there, he beat his man off the line of scrimmage, and basically walked into the end zone untouched. Good throw, good catch. More importantly, I like what the quarterback did. He held his safety in place to allow Metcalf to receive all the accolades.
It certainly did, and that came in the third quarter with 7:26 to go, a 38-yard pass. As you look at Buddy Pugh before you head to the box office for the next new flick, you want to get the real scoop on what's hot and what's not by watching Real Reviews. It comes your way Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. right here, the MBC Television Network. And again, they're running the ball with Jermaine Brown to the 10. Jermaine Brown coming into the game. They let the starters rest now for a while. Jermaine is converted defensive back out of Greenpoint, South Carolina. Went to Walterboro High. Link going right. Link down to the 8-yard line.
Tony Wilson coming up from the outside, trying to make a big hit on the quarterback. I think what this helps out is the maturing process. We talked obviously about the experience that South Carolina State had. They only had one sophomore that started on offense as well as defense. Now they get an opportunity to bring in some of the freshmen, bring in some of the sophomores. So what they're doing is doing a learning curve right now, giving some game experience to some of these young pups so that when it's their turn to step up, when they're called upon, they'll be prepared to do their jobs.
Second down and 8 at the 8. Link looking in the end zone. It's knocked in the air and almost intercepted, but it will fall incomplete. As Dominic Peters got his hands on it. Young man from Spartanburg, South Carolina. You know, we look back at last season, we talked about the 5-5 year that Benedict College had, Jay. You know, they lost 5 games, or 4 of their 5 losses was by a total of 19 points. That's less than 5 points per game. So they could have been 9-1 very easily.
Very easily so. I mean, that's the thing about football. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. What you want to do is just put yourself in a position in the future to make it a learning experience, that when you get in those tight nail-biter ball games, you know what it takes to win the football game. And I definitely think that's what the coach is trying to do and trying to instill in his kids.
South Carolina State last year was 6-5, and 3 of their losses was by a total of 20 points. So they could have very easily been 9-2. I mean, so, it's just a matter of an inch here, an inch there. They're going for it on 4th down. And the ball resting just outside the 5-yard line. And they have it complete. Jermaine Brown catches it but can't get in the end zone, and they turn it over on downs at the 2.
And they reiterate that South Carolina stat. The scary thing about that is, they started off real slow. At one point they were 1-4, I believe, and they ran off 5 or 6 straight. And if you carry that on to the beginning of this year, then all of a sudden you're talking about a team that just got hot, and right now they still have a lot of momentum going.
They were actually 1-5 last year.
Yeah.
9, 1st down and 10 for Benedict. And they lost a couple of yards on that running play. Not much happening there. Let's go to Nicole Watson.
All right, Charlie, with me now is the winningest coach in South Carolina State University history, the legendary Willie Jeffries, who's a dear friend to most of us who have covered black college sports. And, Coach, I have to ask you first, how are you enjoying your retirement?
Nicole, thank you so much. I'm enjoying it, and it's such a pleasure to see you, my dear friend. I think we met up at Howard when you were working for BET. It's great to have you in Columbia. I'm weaning myself as a mother hen does her dibbies, so to speak. And it's very tough right now, but they're keeping me real busy.
All right. What do you think about your successor?
Buddy Pugh is an excellent football coach, real good fundamentalist, a people's person, has a lot of organizational skills, has a lot of good transfers in, about 6 or 7. We left a great nucleus from last year, so he's doing an excellent job.
All right. Just for a few minutes, we're going to throw it back up to Charlie Neal.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. It's good seeing Coach Jeffries. Of course, we got a chance to visit with him a little bit before the game, and I happened to ask him, I said, have you missed it yet? He said, yeah, I miss it. He said, I'm not going to lie. I actually miss it, but I'm doing so many other things, and it's kind of keeping me busy, so that kind of keeps his mind occupied. And, you just can't walk away, and I know it happened to Eddie Robinson down at Grambling and all the great ones. I mean, when you look back over the years at some of the great names in black college coaching history, John Merritt at Tennessee State, you look at Jake Gaither down at Florida A&M, and I mean, the list just goes on and on and on.
I mean, the first thing I thought when I saw that picture come up on the screen, I said, oh, no, because I just remember his defense used to come put such a hurting on me.
Now, that's respect. Now, there's a player from Benedict just glad to shake the hand of South Carolina State.
He knows what it's all about. I mean,
Willie Jeffries, right.
Coach Jeffries is a hero down here in South Carolina now. You talk about role models and celebrities. He's definitely a celebrity coach. He's got those good looks that he knows he has, and he knows how to use them. He was a charmer, and he was a fantastic coach. And what a lot of people don't realize, he was a trailblazer.
Yes, he was.
He was the first African-American coach on the 1A level.
That's right, at Wichita State. He spent 5 years there before going to Howard University. Now timeout's being called by Benedict. Let's go back to Nicole with Coach Jeffries. Nicole?
Thank you, Charlie. Coach, the first black coach on the Division 1A level. Tell us about blazing that trail back then.
Well, it was tough in a way, but out in Wichita, we met some great people, very fine people. We didn't know what to expect as a family going into Wichita, but we treated people well. They treated us well. I think that I didn't have a long enough stick to fight with, however. I'm so happy that Tyrone Willingham has a stick to fight with. The first of us who went on, my being the first black head coach, you went and no slant downward toward Wichita State, but we didn't have the resources or the programs we needed for the black coaches to really do well. And Tyrone Willingham and all of those black coaches have said that that I paved the way for them, and Tony Samuels and all, and I really appreciate that. But it was tough being the first at anything.
Tell us about the brotherhood that exists amongst black college coaches. I remember the classic matchups and the humor that you all had. You and Coach Rob always keeping people in stitches and really bringing your sense of humor to the game.
Oh, yes. We have such a great fraternity. Nicole, we used to even have a party Friday night. The home coach would throw a party for the visiting coach until once I went to Coach Rob's house. He had a great affair. I was sitting in the recliner. He said, Coach Jeff, you got to get up. I said, why? He said, that's the referee's seat. So I knew then that we were going to have it tough if the referee came to his party. I knew the calls would go the other way.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. And I know you said earlier Jay Walker needs to suit up. You probably needed him out there today.
Yeah.
All right, Jay? Coach says you still got it.
It's like riding a bike, Nicole. I keep telling y'all, I may not ride it as good as I used to, but I can still ride it a little bit.
Huh?
From point A to point B.
And South Carolina State just put 6 more points on the board on a fumble recovery in the end zone. It was either going to be a safety or fumble recovery. So that's the 5th turnover for Benedict tonight.
And that's just kind of the nail in the coffin, so to speak. It's been one of those days for Benedict.
And the point after is good. So after missing the first 2 attempts tonight, he's kicked 4 in a row, and the score is now 52-7. 52 points on the board now. Here comes Benedict on the return. And running out of bounds is Keith Green. Let's look at the NBC Sports drive of the game. It occurred in the 3rd quarter on a 44-yard screen pass from Campbell
to Derek Watson.
There's Watson putting it down. 23-yard return on that play. And there's the NBC drive of the game. Benedict College with the ball, trailing big by 45 points right now with 3:23 to go.
Looks like Benedict has made a quarterback change, and Marcus Walker, he deserves a rest. He's been getting hit all night long.
Yeah, Tremaine Lowell was in on the last series, number 5, out of Baltimore, Maryland.
Be more.
They lost the young man from a year ago, which was Royston Williams. And he had 384 yards, 6 touchdowns, rushed for 3 a year ago. And, they had to replace him. And that's how Walker was moved from wide receiver over to the quarterback spot. But we talked about, you're looking at Willie Jeffries and all he's done. And we talked about the great black coaches and historically black colleges and universities. Right now, the active coach with the most wins is Billy Joe, Florida A&M, 221 wins going into the season. And he's followed by Willard Bailey at Virginia Union, who was just 1 win away from 200 for his career, and Bill Hayes at A&T, who kind of had to delay his quest for 200 after losing to North Carolina Central in overtime last week. But he went into the season with 191 career wins, so he needed 9 for 200. Here's the quick pass from Lyle, and he gets it complete. And on the receiving end, Izzy Harley.
Good throw, good catch. Like I say, this is the learning experience. Everybody gets involved in these games. That's the thing about when the games are so one-sided like this. That everybody's going to get a chance to play. So you should never just sit down and rest and think your number's not going to be called.
So it's 1st and 10. After the completion. Blitz being shown by South Carolina State, but they keep it on the ground. And maybe, let's see, and a fumble. It is a fumble and another turnover. 6 of the ball game. 13 turnovers South Carolina State has created in the last 2 ball games. 6 tonight, 7 last week. Let's go down to Nicole.
All right, Charlie, thank you very much. With me now is the interim president for South Carolina State University, the Honorable Ernest Finley. And Mr. President, can you tell me what direction you want to take the school in now? I know you've made many changes.
Well, I want to make sure that South Carolina State lives up to its historic potential and that we provide the students of South Carolina with the highest quality education available.
You have pumped $1.7 million into this football program and into your athletics. Tell me about what changes you see for that.
Well, the opportunities are great for expansion of other programs. I think Benedict is an example of a school that has expanded its athletic program and is using that as a basis to go into other directions. And we would hope to be able to do the same thing.
Yes, sir. You're an attorney yourself. And
I used to be one.
Okay. And you have a certain sense of pride because this is your alma mater.
That's right. I finished South Carolina State in 1954. And it did a lot for me, and I'm back to offer whatever services I can give back to the school.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Okay.
And as he said, Benedict's doing something also. They're developing the Leroy Walker Wellness Fitness Center over on campus, and we got a chance to see a little bit of the construction yesterday.
That's going to be a beautiful building when it's finished, too. They're setting up the infrastructure, and then the other pieces will follow.
There's Jermaine Brown, who's got some quality playing time here in the second half. You know, one of the things that I guess second, third string players always want to happen is big scores like this because, you know, if you're on a team, you always feel like you should be playing. You always feel like you're better than the person in front of you. And you're supposed to, because that's self-pride. And this is an opportunity for the guys who are not on the first or second or third string to get in there and show the coaches, look, I can do something, you know, because for the most part, I don't think Benedict has given up on this game. I mean, of course, the score is out of reach. We only have a minute 55 to go. But I'm saying in terms of some of their key people on defense, they're still in there plugging away. So now it gives an opportunity for the offense of South Carolina State, especially, or defense, depending on what substitutions the coaching staff has made, to show that they can, you know, still get some things done. And that's what's happening. Lake's in there, quarterback. They have Jermaine Brown in there at the running back, and he's been playing pretty well. There's Jermaine Brown again, but not much running room for him this time. And again, one of those people who is in there to hit him is Eugene Ford, who started the ball game. So
yeah, he's still playing. I think there's no substitute for game time reps. I mean, you know, every season you're only going to have so many football plays called. You can practice all you want, but the speed is the most important attribute that you have to develop. Learning and understanding the speed of the football game. Practice is one thing. Game speed is something else. There are a lot of people we call practice All-Americans out there, but you want the game time, game field All-Americans. Those are the ones that you always hear about in papers.
Second down, under a minute to go in this one. Jermaine Brown again on the run. Don't forget, doubleheader Saturday. Next Saturday here on NBC. We'll kick it off with the MEAC matchup in Cincinnati, the Riverfront Classic between Morgan and FAMU. Dwayne Ballin and Mark Gray will be there for that one. Later that evening, Jay Nicole and I will be in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It's a SWAC matchup as the Jaguars of Southern University take on the Golden Lions of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's next Saturday right here on MBC, making better communities, which is happening in Philadelphia today. Willie Gary and the staff of NBC up there are making better communities.
As we wind it down, no need for State to take another play. They do the courteous thing. Take a knee, let the clock wind down. Some of the guys come say, "What's up?" to some of their partners on the other team. You know, they come out, they play hard in between the whistles, and then they just take it easy because it's all about sport.
Let's go down the sideline. We talked about number 11 from Benedict. Well, he's down on the sideline with Nicole Watson. Nicole?
That's right, Charlie. With me now is Dr. Leroy Walker, the man who's been instrumental in reviving this program here at Benedict. And I want to know how much blood, sweat, and tears it cost you.
Well, you know, it's a labor of love. We go so far back with Benedict, and particularly Benedict and State. It's going to take a lot of time for them to get back in a real challenging position to play football. It takes time.
You have so many honors and so many distinct titles that you hold. One is the president and emeritus for the U.S. Olympic Committee. Tell us how you've been able to leverage that to make this program better.
Well, one thing, I know a lot of people. I've been with the Olympic Committee for a long time. I think now we have to get some better ball players. When you start up again, it's tough to meet a team like State that has been well coached and with good athletes. And I understand there's some transfers that are even better. but the rivalry is there. It's good for the students of both sides, and I'm just hoping that people don't give up on this rivalry, and therefore it'll stay with a crowd like this, which is good for both schools.
Tell us about your new stadium. You guys are optimistic about what you have for the future.
Well, yeah, I feel very proud that they're naming a complex over there, the L.T. Walker Complex. It's going to be good for the entire community because it's a fitness and athletic and sport complex. So I'm delighted and honored, and I think that I have a lot of people that are already willing to contribute, so we're looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Walker.
It's a pleasure. Always be back in Columbia.
All right.
Take care, love.
Charlie, back to you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Always good seeing Dr. Leroy Walker. We had a chance to spend some time with him. I did in 1986 at the first ever Goodwill Games in Moscow, Russia. We did track and field over there. Had a great time, and he's a great individual, former chancellor at North Carolina Central University. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap things up from our Columbia, South Carolina in just a moment.
Catch the games. Catch the game. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat.
Yo, from stage to stage, from field to court, hoping everybody enjoys the game and feel the sport. Just remember we're fighting to win the game like Denzel, and remember the Titans. Look, take it out on your enemy, cause it gets intense. The crowd cheers and you feel the energy, and the beat is getting me to a point of height in which both teams better be.
Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat.
Yo, catch the games live on MBC. It's live black college sports, obsessed to bring entertainment aboard. I just hope that you know you dealing with MBC Sports. Back to back. Make sure that you watch games from the CIAA, MEAC and SWAC, SIAC's got you. But it ain't over till you hear this, or we will rock you.
Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat.
State to state, from field to court, hoping everybody enjoys the game and feels the sport. Just remember we fought to win the game like HBCU sports. Look, take it out on your enemy, cause it gets intense. The crowd cheers and you feel the energy, and the beat is getting me to a point of height in which both teams better be.
Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat. Play hard, play rough, be strong, be tough, take charge, dig deep, hold on, bring heat.
Gotta catch the games live on MBC.
(52-7) the score, the final score. South Carolina State continues its dominance of teams in the second half, not allowing any points the last 4 ball games, and that's dating back, Jay, to last season. 2 games already this year. They've not allowed any points in the second half.
I mean, that's an awesome statistic. Any coach would love to have that. As an offense, you start to develop a comfort zone knowing, hey, if we just stay close in the first half, we can dominate the second half. So that builds momentum for the team, and it builds a camaraderie amongst the offense and the defense.
Of course, Benedict College held at just 7 points tonight, but what did you see positive come out of the game for them?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things they realize is that if they eliminate the turnovers on special teams, they're right there in this ball game. Special teams cost them at least 18 points tonight. So you take away those 18 points, you have a much closer game. I think they realize that they've got some improving to do. And sometimes you want, in that loss, you want to learn that, well, everything we've been doing, we haven't quite got to the level we want to get to. We're close, but we're not quite there yet, and that's something they've got to learn.
6 turnovers tonight for Benedict, 7 turnovers Tennessee State last week. So for South Carolina State, they've done a great job in terms of taking the ball away from their opponents. 13 the last 2 ball games. Let's go down sideline. Nicole Watson. Nicole?
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. An impressive day for Reese McCampbell here. Tell us about your offense. Was it as solid as you wanted it to be in every aspect of the game, even though you came up with the victory?
Yeah, our offense doing real good. Last week was the first game, and we really had to get used to working the offense. But I think this week we really just came together and smoothed everything on out.
Did you like the way you guys mixed it up a little bit of running, some passing?
I like the way I thought we should have did more passing because everybody think I can't really throw the ball that good. I just want to show everybody this game that I can throw the ball. But I think we should have did a little more passing so I can really just show how good my arm is.
Talk about the rivalry and what this means to bragging rights in the state.
Oh, the rivalry is real big. We had a big crowd. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, if it's so excited, it's just they play in a big crowd full of, you know what I'm saying, a black college crowd like this. It just feels real good.
Congratulations on the win, Reese. Thank you so much. Charlie J, back to you.
All right, Reese had a big game, 21 carries, 111 yards, ran for a touchdown, passed 9 of 12, 133 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. As you look at the total yards there, it's amazing. Wow. 515 to 206, Jay.
Wow. I mean, that's going to help out your stats for the rest of the season. You can have a bad football game and still average 300 yards a game. 515 yards is a phenomenal amount of football yards, especially when considered 300 yards rushing. Charlie, you've called football games forever. When's the last time you've seen a team rush for 300 yards?
And the quarterback for 111. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row that McCampbell has had over 100 yards rushing, 161 last week, 111 tonight. That's 272 yards. That's a season for a lot of people.
Yeah, is he a running back or a quarterback?
You never rushed for that many, did you? I know
I rushed for as many as I needed to rush for.
Yeah, 1 or 2 at a time. That was about it. You know, the big guys have trouble getting to the line, but that's okay. I'll get you. That anyway.
Thrower, not a runner. There's an art to throw in the football. Anybody can run. Even you can run, Charlie. Not everybody can throw.
47,000 fans on hand for this particular game.
Outside as well. It was 47,000 outside, 47,000 inside. So I'm going to say a ground total of 95,000 people were here in this environment. Great environment for a football game.
Let's look at the MVPs for tonight's game. The NBC MVPs, of course, we talked about Reese McCampbell. There's the total yards for him. He ran for a pair and threw for ran for one rather and threw for a pair of touchdowns to come up with a total of 244 yards of total offense. Last week was 282. So he's continuing to put the numbers up. Benedict College, Rolando Shula had 4 receptions for 79 yards in a losing effort. We talk about this South Carolina State. We talked a little bit about what you saw positive from the Benedict standpoint of view. When you looked at South Carolina State, what stood out in your mind, other than the fact that they were able to run the ball?
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that they were able to eliminate or just, lessen the amount of turnovers that they had. I thought McCampbell did a good job of getting his team in and out of the huddle, getting them to the line of scrimmage, making a great read in terms of understanding the system. This is a new offense they're putting in place. And, a lot of times with new offenses come a lot of new problems. They eliminated their problems and their turnovers, and they made it a very efficient type thing. South Carolina State defense, they kept that scoreless streak intact, which is phenomenal to not be scored on. So they've got a lot of pluses from this, and I think they're going to need that because the MEAC schedule is loaded this year.
And there's some teams that's going to give them a problem, but they have already put themselves in position to be reckoned with in the conference. Of course, A&T is always a tough team. Hampton's a tough team. Howard won today. They beat a Texas Southern team that we saw a week ago by 2 points up in Washington, D.C., 1 or 2 points. It was a very close game. And then, of course, you can't forget Bethune and Florida A&M.
You definitely can. One of the things that, any coaches say, well, I'd rather be the underdog chasing the lead. Well, right now, if you are the head coach for South Carolina State, you're in the lead. You're the front runner right now. It's your season to lose. You got an opportunity to win a national championship. You've got the highest rating out of everybody else in the conference. Florida A&M played Miami and Florida, got a loss. That one loss hurt them. So that enabled South Carolina State to jump in front of FAMU, and I think that FAMU is going to make a run. That's going to be a shootout. Yeah. I don't think that the championship of the MEAC is going to be decided on the last week of the season again down in Florida. So somebody's going to step up. You've got Hampton. We want to see how the rest of the conference reacts to this new spread-out offense, because I guarantee you they were watching tonight.
No question about it. And we're going to be in Florida, not Florida, Arkansas next week. Yeah, Florida A&M. We have a doubleheader next week. Of course, it starts off at 1:30 p.m. with the Riverfront Classic. That's Florida A&M and Morgan State. And then at 7:30, Jay, Nicole, and myself will be in Pine Bluff, Arkansas for the Southern University Arkansas Pine Bluff game, a Southwestern Athletic Conference matchup, and that should be a good one there. Don't forget our score here tonight, 52-7. The final, South Carolina State over Benedict. And we'll be back to wrap things up from Columbia, South Carolina in just a moment. Having the final score, South Carolina State over Benedict. Jay, your thoughts after everything's been said?
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I think this is a rivalry that's going to continue to grow. The attendance is going to stay phenomenal. The teams will get more competitive as time goes along. Benedict joins a larger conference. This is going to be a great in-state rivalry. That's going to mirror that one they have in North Carolina.
Coming up next week, a doubleheader, and we kick it off with the Riverfront Classic in Cincinnati, Morgan, and FAMU. 7:30, we travel to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, as the Southern University takes on Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coming up next, right here, it'll be Inside MBC. This has been an NBC Sports presentation. For Nicole Watson and Jay Walker and all of us here at NBC Sports, this is Charlie Neal saying so long from Columbia, South Carolina. The final score once again was the Bulldogs of South Carolina State 52 and the Tigers of Benedict College 7.
Nothing. Florida A&M, which came into this game 1-1. Morgan State 0-2.
Well, you know something? After last week's game, Levy Brown was quoted in Tallahassee Democrat, and remember last week's game, they beat Morris Brown 64-6 in Tallahassee, and he said we're going.